Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, Ireland's only answer to Harry Kane, bringing you everything you need to know and what people are not telling you on Paulo Fonseca. And today we are joined by a Fonseca specialist, Fonseca sexual. It's Jack. How are you keeping, Jack?
Yeah, man, not so bad. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're all good. We're all good, man. We're all here to get the lowdown on Fonseca. And we have Mr. Kanicki joining us today. He will be known as Mr. Kanicki for the next hour or so because we can't have two Jacks. It'll get too confusing. Mr. Kanicki, how are you?
Good. I'm going to be going also by my, I usually go by my stats alter ego, but maybe with Kanicki now, it'll be maybe of a Greece alter ego as well, David.
Or Kanikic, because we know you like Croatian names, so we could call you Kanikic for the 2 hours and feed your ego.
The moment I become a Kanikic, my touch is immediately better. Absolutely agree, David.
So Mr. Kanikic it is for the next 2 hours. I'm joined by Delboy, a.k.a. Bobspur. How are you keeping, Bob?
All good, and you're spot on, mate. One Jack's enough.
100%. It'll get too difficult then. Look, first and foremost, make sure you smash a like on the stream, a subscribe on the channel if you're new, and also get them super chats in with any questions you have for our Fonseca expert here. Any questions you have for the panel, any thoughts or views, whether you agree or disagree, don't be afraid to get the super chats in. And plus, it's a great way to show your support for the channel. Well, look, let's welcome a few people into the building. We have Mr. Edwardson, big yourself up. We have James Killeen. He says, David, when will Fonseca be announced? Look, I've been told it'll be next week. It should be no later than Wednesday. That's what I've been told. We have the Yid kid, big yourself up. Is he still in the plane? I don't know where he is right now. I don't have the tracker on him, my man. We have not yet anyway. We have Amon Armesia. Hello, David, my brother from another mother. How are you keeping, man? How are you keeping? I hope you're keeping well. Destroyer, big yourself up. We have Marion Cranford, big yourself up. Dan M, how are you keeping, my man? He says, big up, Dave. I was very underwhelmed like everyone else with disappointment, but I'm going to be positive on him until proven otherwise. Yeah, look, I'm kind of going along the same mindset now. He's coming. What can we do? No point in sitting here sulking about it. We have Mr. Keaveney. He says Paulo Fonseca has travelled to Ukraine for a short holiday before being appointed as Jose Mourinho's successor. So big yourself up there. Who else have we got? We have Leon Powell. We have Joe 27. We have Yunus Islam. We have Harry Fishcakes. Matthew Collins, big yourself up. We have Stuart Such, Tottenham teacher, Philip Brady. How are you keeping, my man? We have Emily Dunn, Bob joining the PCAP blinders. 100% he is. Brandon Sebastian, big yourself up. Lionel Messi, they say to you every time. Cristiano Ronaldo is the GOAT, but thank you for coming on and bigging yourself up, man. So look, we may as well get into it. Let's not waste Jack's time, his valuable time, while we have him here. So I'm going to start hot and heavy with the questions. So look, Jack, to a lot of Spurs fans, the appointment of Fonseca is underwhelming. What has Fonseca done at his previous clubs, Roma, Shakhtar, Porto, Braga, to convince you that he is the right man for Tottenham?
So first of all, I guess I want to preface nearly all my answers by saying Spurs fans, guys kind of in the chat who I've just meeting for the first time here, Conte's a better manager than Fonseca. Like, your disappointment is totally warranted. For me, best manager in the world right now. Like, if Conte comes in, right, and then you keep Kane and maybe bring in a couple of players and he gets the project that he wanted, I'm not ruling out Spurs making a title run. I would say that's guaranteed top 4. Conte's that good of a manager. The thing and the reason why I think I've maybe had a little bit of a reaction on Twitter is I saw a lot of Spurs fans totally burying the guy without even really knowing who he is or what he's about. Mm-hmm. So to your question, talking about, previous jobs, previous achievements. First of all, the one I want to just dispel quickly is, if you're managing Shakhtar Donetsk, you should be winning the Ukrainian league every single year. Well, when he came in, the Shakhtar Donetsk team did not win the league that year. And then in his 3 years there, they won the double every single year. Okay, so first of all, this whole kind of rhetoric and narrative that, it's a job. It's like, being manager of Juventus or Bayern Munich or PSG. You should win the league every year. It's not always that way. The Braga job, he was generally very, very impressive. A lot of respect there. But the one that I think all of your viewers and you guys want to know about is the job at Roma, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the job at Roma, if I throw names at you guys like Marquinhos, right? Antonio Rudiger, Kostas Manolas, Daniele De Rossi, Kevin Strootman, Raja Nainggolan, Mohamed Salah, Alisson Becker, all these kind of like crazy talented players. The state of that Roma squad right now, and this was not under Fonseca's control, is nowhere near that. I said this on one of the other shows, and I'm sorry if anybody's seen me on these other shows if I'm repeating myself here, but this is like Roma's front line is like something out of 2013, 2014. You got a 35-year-old Edin Dzeko up top who's wanted to leave for 18 months. You got Pedro, who was let go by Chelsea. And you got Henrik Mkhitaryan, who had a terrible time in England. And even Mkhitaryan, he brought back up to double-digit goals and assists. My final thing, and because I know I've been droning on for a minute here.
No, Grant, this is what you're here for, lad.
There are new owners, right? So there was an American, I believe it was an Italian-American owner in Jim Pallotta, who was at Roma, right? That changed hands and was going through the negotiations of that were going through over Fonseca's time to Dan Friedkin, who's another American owner. AS Roma is traded on the Italian stock exchange, the Milan Stock Exchange, and within that time period, they weren't going to give a guy who, I mean, they didn't really know, they weren't really sold on this big long contract, least of all a bunch of money to spend. So you look at the caliber of player that's been brought in, all Fonseca had to do was try and make chicken salad out of chicken, you know what? I don't know if I can swear on your channel here, right? Yeah. Okay, so he had to try and make, chicken salad, chicken soup out of chicken shit, right? And and it on players exponentially. Roma have talented players. Lorenzo Pellegrini is a talented player. Nicolo Zaniolo, who's had 2 years of ACL injuries, he's a very talented player. I'm not trying to dispute that Dzeko and Mkhitaryan are talented players, but these are not guys firing at the top of their game from several years ago. The likes of Jordan Veretout, ex-Aston Villa, right? The likes of Leandro Spinazzola, who was at Juventus, got loaned out like 7 times. We now see him killing it for Italy and killing it for Roma. Rick Karsdorp from Feyenoord, right, who's now just had the best year of his career. Roger Ibanez, the Brazilian centre-back, who on a previous show I said if Spurs are trying to sign a Roma player, Ibanez should be your guy. Mancini. Anyway, I've been talking for a long time. I know it's been a lot to digest, but I just wanted to kind of get a couple of the key points which some of the viewers may have already heard from me, so I don't have to repeat myself going forward.
Well, look, Paul Markey's enjoying it. He says, finally someone talking sense on the appointment of Fonseca. Give this guy a chance and he will produce. So big up Paul Markey for the comment, my man. But look, Jack, same question to you, I suppose. Is there anything that you think, Jack missed out on, Mr. Knikic?
No, I feel like Jack actually hit I think he prefaced every single point that we'll probably get into maybe further for some of maybe the more specific questions, but maybe even to make some of the points he made even stronger when he said that Shakhtar had not won the year prior to him joining. They actually hadn't won the year, won the league 2 previous years in a row. So there it is as well. And also when he came into Shakhtar, he actually, he had a pretty different system to the likes of Roma. He had a 4-2-3-1. It was kind of maybe during the prime years of what we've seen, the very small, very tricky Brazilians and Ukrainians, so the likes of Tyson, Marlos, and I believe I'm missing one at the moment as well. And Ferreira, I believe they had up top at the time. So kind of some of the players' best prime. He's even kind of actually maybe been at the helm of some players that we've maybe seen in the past that are now kind of dead and gone in their primes as well. When he was manager of Porto, he oversaw Jackson Martinez during that brilliant kind of like 2-year hot and heavy stint of him kind of banging it in. I also remember Juan Fernando Quintero, who was that great kind of World Cup performance alongside James. So he's actually kind of oversaw a lot of good players that are now practically, I would say, we haven't even seen of ever again. So maybe that's the nuance I would add. And then the final point that he made, which I think is a really good point that really needs to get hammered home again, is really the squad that he is inheriting at Roma is very different from that epic squad that beat Barcelona with that Manolas header. If you actually, I can read it aloud right now. If you look at that squad, from before, it was Alisson, Alexander Kolarov, Manolas, Nainggolan, Strootman, Pellegrini, De Rossi, Florenzi, Dzeko, Patrick Schick, who obviously just scored the goal of the tournament, as kind of a backup for Dzeko. El Shaarawy, maybe during maybe a bit of El Shaarawy's kind of comeback, a little bit of romance there as well. And then the team that took over, or the team that Fonseca took over, was Pau Lopez, Cristante, Ibanez, Smalling, Karsdorp, Spinazzola, Diawara, Bertrand, Mkhitaryan, Dzeko, and Pellegrini. And this is the side that I picked, I believe, from their Man United team, or the team that they played against Man United. So if you really look at it, plenty new players. Most of the players maybe most people might not have even ever heard of before. So really, yeah, entirely different team, entirely different circumstances we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And look, we mentioned a bit about the owners. I do have a question on that. But Bob, have you anything you want to add in there, or any questions you want to put to the two guys off the back of that?
It's more of a statement, which I think we'll cover later on. What my qualms are with Fonseca, not directly but indirectly. So no, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and try and make out I know every single Roma player he's managed and who was there prior and who wasn't. Unfortunately for him, if you put in Fonseca, Roma in YouTube, a few things that come up are the 6 substitutes and the illegal player. That's unfortunate. But from sounds of it, well, no, it's quite evident it's done pretty well in some of the things as well. But I don't know if you want to touch on it later, Dave. But I just want to clarify my.
I will. I have questions lined up for you later on, Bob. Don't worry about that. So look, guys, we were saying there about the owners of Roma, the new owners taking over. Now, my question is why do they not want to work with him, considering they're going through a rebuilding phase, just like Tottenham are? That's going to you first, Jack. I'd love to hear your answer on this, because for me, I think it's one we need to hear, because we're going through the same stage as Roma. So I think it's a very important question, this one, Jack.
And just for you, I think, Dave, also, it just shows probably a bit of lack of confidence as well from the board, doesn't it? They don't trust Fonseca with the money, so they are bringing. Your audio's a little off. All right, mate. Is it bad? Is it, or?
Yeah, you sound a bit like Darth Vader there, Bob. So, Dan N is saying that your audio is a bit off.
All right, let me change that.
No worries. But look, Jack, go on, crack on.
Yeah, no. So just to say, I want to just kind of dispel that quickly, and I hope Bob can still hear me while he's sorting out his mic there.
I certainly can.
Okay, good man. So the most important thing in football is context, and a lot of people we're living in a very stats-driven, notification-driven world of football right now. Okay, so there's not many people watching games. There's lots of phones buzzing telling you who scored for your Bet365 account, your William Hill account, or whatever, right? But we're not really watching the game and processing what's going on in the background. And just for anybody in the chat who may not be familiar with me, this is the approach I'm coming from. I graduated last year with a degree in international football business from UCFB in London. So this is where my kind of mind is going regarding this question. If you've spent hundreds and hundreds of billions of your own money into an investment into a product, and you want to try and fill stadiums, you want to try and fund a new stadium so you don't have to try and share a stadium with Lazio, right? You can really kind of create your own brand. We know how fantastic Roma's social media team is. We know the history, the fervent support of all of the fans across the world for the club, me included. You want somebody with a bit of punch and a bit of name recognition. And with all due respect to Paulo Fonseca and what he's achieved in certain countries across the world, Paulo Fonseca's not won a Champions League with Chelsea or Inter Milan, right? Paulo Fonseca's not got 100 points as Real Madrid coach playing against that great Barcelona team. In my opinion, and I've said this in previous videos, Paulo Fonseca is on the ascendancy as a coach, and Mourinho is unfortunately going the opposite way. We've seen that recently. He's not at the peak of his powers that he kind of once had. And for me, the reason that Roma have gone to Mourinho as opposed to Fonseca is purely because of the name recognition and the brand value that a name like that brings to the club to get fans excited again. In my opinion, Fonseca is a better coach. And another thing I just want to dispel quickly, I see a lot of Spurs fans saying, hey, like, he got fired. It's like, no, he signed in 2019 for 2 years. It's 2021 now. That's 2 years. The contract's over. He was a transitional coach. So to give you that reason, Jose Mourinho, you've got global appeal and brand recognition to excite a new investment with the Friedkins. I think that makes a hell of a lot of sense, and to me, that's the kind of narrative that I'm choosing to go with. It's not because they didn't like him as the coach. Everybody loves Fonseca. Speak to most Roma fans; they're a fan of him. They really are.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Good answer there. To be fair, lad. But look, everybody, there is 158 people watching right now. Make sure you do smash a like on the stream and subscribe on the channel if you're new. And don't be afraid to get those super chats in with your thoughts, opinions, views, whether you agree, disagree, thoughts on questions for Jack on Fonseca. And why not support the channel? But yeah,
come on.
Have you anything to add to that, my man?
No, I was just going to say as well, like he maybe took over maybe during possibly the most turbulent time for any manager to possibly ever take over. He's taking over for an owner that was going to sell. He was taking over for an owner that was going to be selling, and he also was taking over for an owner that was going to be selling during the pandemic as well. So you can understand that maybe the owners really had plenty of other things on the mind. There's plenty of club revenue loss, especially with the Serie A. They don't nearly make as much from TV deals as that of the Premier League to sustain themselves off of. So you really just think about it. And yeah, he took over during practically the worst time any manager could take over. And he practically kept the club afloat during practically no club investment, no players to really choose from, considering what the other players had before him. And if you remember too, like Claudio and Ranieri, I believe, had a very brief, pretty torrid spell there before he even joined. And I believe he did better than Ranieri as well, considering that, a lot of us probably over here in the Premier League would regard him quite well. But Fonseca absolutely outclassed him with practically a worse set of players, you could even argue, than Ranieri. The squad didn't change too much, but you could say that Fonseca did even better than Ranieri and was also the manager during a much worse time and confusing time to be a manager there.
Also, just to say very quickly to Jack's point there, are you guys familiar with the director of football, Monchi from Sevilla?
Yeah.
So Monchi has had fantastic success at Sevilla, and then he signed a deal at Roma, and a lot of the fans are getting super excited. And the state that the squad is in now is not down to Fonseca making those signings and letting those big players go and not really replacing them. That's Monchi, and Monchi left with his tail between his legs to go straight back to Sevilla. So it's not been, context is everything in football, and Fonseca has not been given the kind of soil to grow in, not the environment to grow in. And I think that at Spurs there are some similarities between his hiring as with Maurizio Pochettino, and I think there's cause for optimism for Spurs fans. I'm not going to try and tell you that he's better than Conte, that's madness, but there is cause for optimism, I would say.
Yeah, 100%. And look, Bob, I'm going to put the same question to you. Are you concerned that, after everything the boy said there, are you still concerned that, this guy's new Roma owners took over, they didn't see Fonseca as the way of building? Are you concerned that, Tottenham are in the same phase and we're getting this guy in when new owners have come in and identified this man as the wrong man to do it?
First of all, is the sound a bit better?
A lot better.
Yeah, fantastic.
We're just missing the hat now.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, mate. It didn't go. But after what Jack said, it was concerning. I think hence the reason why I mentioned it earlier. But I think from what Jack said, it's quite evident from a global brand, from a global brand point of view, and the pulling power that Jose Mourinho would bring instead of Fonseca. It makes complete sense, mate. If you're coming in with a bit of money, you want to make sure all the right, the things are in place to be as successful as possible, i.e. bringing in the right players, having that pulling power, having that name at the top. And Jose, despite his rather lethargic performance at Spurs, he still has that pulling power. He still has that global name and global brand. So I think if Roma were to look to anyone, there's only two people out there, it's probably Conte and Mourinho right now who are available, who have that pulling power. So yeah, makes complete sense.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Look, the next question I have for you, Jackie, is that people say injuries at Roma derailed his season. But look, all managers have to deal with injuries. What was different about the one he had at Roma? And also, part two of the question is how did he cope throughout that time?
So he coped by changing, right? I think a video that I linked on my Twitter, which I urge everybody watching to go and see, and you guys as well, who I'm with here on the show, if you haven't, go to Tifo Football. I'm sure you guys are familiar with them, and take a look at their video on Fonseca. They explain it a hell of a lot better than I'm about to now. But Paulo Fonseca is known, especially for his time at Shakhtar, for that kind of 4-2-3-1. And other Jack kind of mentioned some of the great Brazilian names there who've received a lot of interest there. He played Pep Guardiola in 2017, 2018, and Pep said it's one of the best teams he's ever played against. Called the Shakhtar team under Fonseca amazing. Man City won the game 2-0, but he said that they had to really, really work for it. And I think credit from one of the greatest of this era. That's something to go by. So in terms of the injuries and what he had to work with, he's more than comfortable going from a 4-2-3-1 to a 4-3-3, and obviously his more recent success, more determined by injuries, has been to do that 3 centre back, call it 3 at the back, 5 at the back, whatever you want to call it. So he's happy to change things and adapt. And obviously, in relation to Spurs, is he going to come in and use 3 centre backs and wing backs? I'd say probably not. I'd be looking at probably a back 4-2-3-1, maybe more similar to his Shakhtar days initially. But he is willing to make changes, is willing to be innovative. To your question about the injuries, the Manchester United game. Every Roma fan loves when this is brought up because it was just such a great day for us, right? In 35 minutes, there had to be 3 substitutions because of 3 injuries to arguably, potentially, our 3 better players. Jordan Veretout.
They were also up as well. Roma was winning as well.
Right, absolutely, and that makes a huge difference. Jordan Veretout, who got I think to double-digit goals and was a real revelation, and this is the guy who. This is the guy who failed at Aston Villa, guys. We're not working with the cream of the crop here. Leandro Spinazzola, who was arguably Roma's best attacking player as well. So, injuries have always been an issue. Roma's most talented player, in my opinion, is Nicolo Zaniolo. And for Paulo Fonseca's entire time in charge, he's not had him available. Whether it's Chris Smalling going down injured, having to have Brian Cristante come and play central midfield. Another little comment as well to kind of relate to Spurs fans here. You guys remember Federico Fazio? That man, legend, cult hero. That man still occasionally plays games at Roma. That should tell you kind of the state of the squad and the injury situation that was on place. Also, the loans last year, Cengiz Ünder at Leicester, Justin Kluivert goes to, I think it was Leipzig, and then you've got Alessandro Florenzi at PSG. What's going on here? Who's making the decisions? So anyway, back to you guys.
No, and look, just before you do, we'll have to get a comment up from a channel legend. Aglaya Kakarata says, Poch was the best coach apart from Bill Nicholson we've had in our history. Maybe, just maybe, Fonseca can go one better, deliver trophies, lads. Look, we've won 2 League Cup in 22 years. That's so bad, 100%. I couldn't agree more with you, Aglaya. Big up for the comment as well. And Amzo's in the building. Big yourself up, Island Life and Paul Brown. But Mr. Kanikic, same question to you.
Yeah, I mean, he knows absolutely what I learned is how to adapt. I mean, he even turned Cristante into even a bit of a libero role. If people are familiar with that, either from Football Manager or just from Football Tactics alone, Brian Cristante was originally kind of like a holding midfielder, and then he put them in kind of the middle of the back 3, and he basically became one of the modern best examples of a libero, you probably say, of the last season. So that could be a significant thing to add on to what Jack already said was a ton of extra brilliant points about how he's already adapted. Maybe another thing as well that really needs to be hammered home again. He switched from a 4-2-3-1 in the likes of Shakhtar, which they've been running there for quite a long time, and then switched to that 3-4, 3-5-2, 3-4-2-1. kind of system. And with that system, it's an entirely different system. He's practically adopted maybe a lot of Italian principles, but then has become maybe even more attacking than he was before at Shakhtar. And then if we can also remember, he's the one who was behind that Shakhtar 2-1 victory over Man City that Guardiola was also very, kind of impressed by and probably flabbergasted by. And that Shakhtar team, it really only should have actually won a 2-1 or 2-0. I think it was some Aguero penalty in like the 90th minute, some cheese goal at the end of the game. So it really was a 2-0 win when you really think about it as well. So Shakhtar, he had a great stint there, had a good kind of different type of team, had also mostly kind of very small, kind of hasty possession kind of based players there. And then in the likes of the Serie A, he practically had garbage to work with and still was able to kind of, like I said, David, he's pretty good at polishing a turd. And he was able to do an entire different system there and work with entirely different players. And seems to also, maybe Jack maybe can back me up here, seems to actually do really well with those small, very kind of possession-based kind of players like the Mkhitaryan's, the Marloses, the Tysons of the world. And I'm forgetting that last little Shakhtar player. Bernard, thank you, right, because he moved to Everton. He's been there for a while. And then he had Bernard right during that spell. So, yeah, he worked with all those really creative players really well. And so he seems to, if we have some small kind of creative number 10 in the midfield or on the wing, he'll do really well with them, it seems. So, yeah, tons of way he's adapted. Maybe the Cristante thing is the one we really have to hammer home.
That's definitely the most that's definitely the most innovative I would say that he's been. And to your point there, and this is something that I'm really going to kind of draw the comparisons with Pochettino. He wins the match on the weekend by putting the work in Monday through Friday. Right, that's another thing I've said recently, and that's what Pochettino did. Fonseca, if you're expecting the Antonio Conte type of shouting and screaming and motivating a team to get the win just on the Saturday, that's not it. He's trying to prepare for the game and do it the right way, bringing on players like Jack said there in terms of developing players. I can name 6 or 7 players who in their entire careers, they had their best season last year because of Fonseca's influence.
Yeah, interesting. We'll get on to players and what players that you think you think will thrive. But Bob, are you concerned that with the injuries he has, although there's a lot of dross to work with at Roma, as Mr. Kanikic was saying, there's also a lot of Tottenham. Are you concerned? Because with Tottenham, look, we'll be honest, we got away with injuries last year. We usually end up getting piled with injuries every season. Is that a concern for you that once we do get injuries, our season might be derailed like it was at his time at Roma?
Yeah, because you got to look at the quality of the squad as well as a whole. It's we just don't have that in-depth quality that probably Roma had for a little while. But from the sounds of it, he likes polishing a turd, and if he likes doing that, fucking hell, he's coming from the right place. Because there's so much shit at Spurs, you better get a polish out and start polishing away.
Get on the goggles.
Yeah, that's it.
We want to be sponsored by Pledge.
Yeah, but yeah. But for me, one of the turds, so-called turds at Spurs, are Winks. Is Winks, and I can't see him polishing. I can't see him polishing Winks and making him a better player. I don't think anyone can.
Honestly, Bob, I'd be surprised if we see him at the press conference saying, I can't wait to work with Harry Winks and that. I'd be very, very surprised. I'd be very angry. It's not off a good start whatsoever. But look, he is labelled as an attacking coach. What sort of football can we expect to see? Is a slow build-up play from the back, keeping possession and trying to penetrate teams, or is it a fast build-up? And again, does he prefer to attack down through the middle, or does he prefer to attack through the wide areas, Jack?
So I'll deal with kind of the latter part of that question first, if you don't mind, because I know there's a lot of this kind of, is it a wide thing or is it kind of a narrow thing? What he likes to do is overload the center of the park by having the 2 wide players in the front 3 come super narrow. So they're almost playing as they're playing in that kind of half space. Probably just off the centre back, probably in between the centre back and the full back on the side, which allows the wing backs to push up super, super high. So the most valuable positions in a Fonseca team, especially at the end of the season in that formation, are the fullbacks. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And we saw the best year of Leandro Spinazzola's career and the best year of Rick Karsdorp's career. And, there's no shock in that at all. And then what he will do, and this is why I think I'm pretty excited for the likes of, potentially Steven Bergwijn, Lucas Moura, and obviously, Heung-min Son. These are guys who are not strictly out-and-out wide players, right? They do like to come inside a little bit. They like to occupy that area. Only comparing it to what he did at the end, though, there's a certain level of have you got the fullbacks and the centre-backs to do it? Because he does a lot of his training with the ball at the feet. He doesn't do very much positional training without the ball. So you're going to need centre-backs who are comfortable playing the ball. And in terms of the build-up play, like you talked about, trying to get to that, you're going to be a bit stressed. But it depends whether he brings this over from Italy or whether he starts playing a different way, because they like to create this huge U shape, right, where the wing backs pull up to halfway, the wide centre backs split, and then the goalkeeper kind of comes up with that central centre back to create this huge U to play around. Now, the pros of this are the transition can be very fast. And if you go on YouTube, you'll see some 30 pass, 2 minutes without the ball going out or the opposition touching it type of goals where there's a tap in the opponent's 6-yard box. And you go, oh my God, that's the best football I've ever seen. But then you'll also see one of your centre backs get the ball nicked off him. And then if you have a bad goalkeeper like Paul Lopez or Morante or somebody like that, or Robin Olsen who had to go on loan, then you're going to concede. You're going to concede. So,
it becomes more evident, doesn't it?
Right, but here's the thing, guys. As much as I've said that, that's only what he did at the end when he was at Roma. It would blow my mind. It would blow my mind if he was doing that at Spurs. I fully expect to see a back four and a slightly different style, maybe a more conservative way, a little bit more kind of defensive in his approach in terms of a build-up play, because the risk and reward aspect is amazing. And some of Roma's goals last year were absolutely beautiful. But defensively, it was an issue. I can't deny that.
Yeah, 100%. Look, there's 265 people watching right now. Make sure you get on the descriptions below the video. Get out and check out all the boys' social media, Bobspur TV as well. Get over and check out his channel. Make sure you do smash a like on the stream, subscribe on the channel, and feel free to put your super chats in, lads and ladies. But Jack, again, the same question to you, man. And what formation does he like to use, Jack?
Well, yeah, he's adapted between, I think it seems to really be either what we know as the conventional 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 kind of formation with a bit of a number 10 instead of maybe a 4-3-3 flat. But he's also transition to that 3-5-2, 3-4-2-1. I kind of agree with Jack here. I think he'll probably, with the Premier League in mind, might go to the conventional shape that he's done most of the time before Roma. And maybe we might see a team that was a bit more similar to the likes of Shakhtar Donetsk. But like I said, with that team with Shakhtar Donetsk, obviously I did name maybe some very tricky, good players. But you could also think about the players that he had at his disposal. And he's kind of had a team that really tied his hands behind his back. Didn't really have any tall number 9. Didn't really have any really strong hold-up players. So he had to actually work with practically a front four who all worked and played pretty much the exact same way. And when, while that may be work in FIFA or Football Manager, sometimes definitely does not work in real life. You have to have some type of diversification of different types of play styles and different types of even physical attributes as well with your front four. But like I said, he found tons of success with that team, and even attacking wise, which I think was part of David's original question. Even I believe even that his first season, I believe he finished with even more goals than Juventus that season. Total goals scored, I believe he finished with actually more goals than Juventus, who were the Serie A winners that season. And then this coming season, I believe they only scored something like 5 or 6 fewer goals than Lazio or whoever was Lazio, who are Champions League qualifiers. So think about that as well. He's scored plenty of goals. It's really actually, like Jack was saying, it's actually maybe he has a bit more of a problem with conceding goals in the likes of what you said with the transition, where he's able to basically create some of the most sexy, scintillating football. But with that comes the price, similar to maybe Guardiola's sides, maybe to a degree, where if you do get caught out in moments where a player maybe misplaces a pass, player doesn't make the right movement towards the ball, player just loses the ball in a bad situation, you can get really easily countered. And as we know in the Premier League, the counterattack is practically the go-to for plenty of teams. So that could be dangerous. But with the 4-2-3-1, I don't maybe see that being as common with the 3 in the back. I think the 3 in the back, you do get exposed even more sometimes in that situation. So yeah, I could see him being really strong. And he's also, like I said, he's really produced some of the best form of, honestly, during those years. Some of my favorite players of those years. I remember in the likes of even my favorite Ukrainian player from that time was the likes of Kovalenko, Stepanenko, and that side were really great. And the likes of that front four Brazilians were really incredible. They really were some of my favorite players to watch. And in Roma this year, making Mkhitaryan all of a sudden become brilliant and become one of Serie A's best players, practically producing, if he scored 10 more goals, he would have had Kane-esque numbers when you really think about it. I think he had 13 goals and 10 assists. Ridiculous. And then as well, Borja Mayoral, who I absolutely do not rate in any sense whatsoever. I think is, pretty much, an absolute turd that he polished into scoring 10 goals this season. So you also think about that as well. So yeah, he's able to score goals. It's just really, will the goals be scored against us? That's really the question. I think that would probably happen.
Yeah. Well, look, I do have a question, and I do have 2 super chats to get to. Lads, get your super chats in. It's the way to go to get the questions in for the panel. Anything you want to know on Fonseca, the chat is flying. I'm starting to struggle to keep up now. So get your super chats in with the questions for the panel. Joe, I will be answering yours in 1 second because it's actually a question I have written out down here, my man. But Bob, how does that free-flowing attacking football sound to you?
Yeah, it's all about personnel, though, isn't it? I mean, we've looked more. Spurs have looked more lightweight and easy to get at when we play 3 at the back. 3-1 when we were 3-1 up against West Ham, we brought Davinson on to shore it up, play 3 at the back, and we conceded 2 goals. We looked, and they kept on getting behind us over and over again because Sanchez didn't have a fucking clue where to put himself, and they kept on getting behind him, between him and Aurier, over and over and over again, and hence the reason the goals came from both of the mistakes, or with the free kick right at the end. So, yeah, it's all very well playing 3 at the back, 4 at the back, 6 at the back. It's all the case of getting the right personnel in, and or by polishing a turd. Sanchez got the capabilities of playing in the back 3, possibly. Rodon has got the chance. Well, going by performance today, he could be one of the best in the Premier League. He was at 2 goals today. So we have got the players there, but we do need another 1, possibly 2 centre backs.
Well, hold that thought, Bob. Don't give away too much there, because that's actually one of my questions a bit later on, my man. So it is. So just hold that thought. But Joe Grimes here, and this is one of the questions. So I'm just going to give this straight to Jack, get an answer off him, and then I'll get through the other couple of super chats, and then we'll get through more of these questions here. Joe Grimes, big up Joe Grimes. I really do appreciate the super chat, my man. What a legend. He says, fitness was a big issue for us last season. Will Fonseca address this, and what were the fitness levels of the Roma players? Great question, Joe. Great minds think alike. That's what they said. But Jack, take it away, man.
Joe, that is a fantastic question, and appreciate the super chat. That's awesome. Chat's been awesome. Appreciate you guys. This is a worry. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it or deny it. I did read somewhere. Now, don't take this to the bank. I just read this from a journalist. Somebody I follow on Twitter. So don't strictly believe this. But Fonseca has basically brought none of his physio or kind of any sort of medical team with him from Roma. And I think that will tell you all you need to know about the state that Roma were in last year regarding their own injuries. And I know that as well, it has been a problem. At Tottenham. I don't know if it's going to be the first thing that he tries to deal with and assesses. I think you made a really, really good point about needing to sign centre backs. I think and I know we'll get onto that. I'm not going to try and foreshadow my answer here, but that's a huge area. I think that he's going to be wanting to get his players in or make some movement, figure out Harry Kane's future. All these kind of things I think are going to come above trying to make sure the fitness levels of the players are spot on. I think it will tell you a lot that he's bringing none of his medical team potentially from Roma to Spurs, and count your lucky stars. Trust me.
Yeah, 100%. And look, we'll give you the next question, and then we'll get on to Brad Matthews super chat there. Because I'm just conscious of time here as well. When we lose the ball, Jack, will we press high to try and win it back, or will we sit back into a low block just blocking up the spaces? What can we expect? Big up Joe for the super chat, legend.
Yes, thanks, Joe. So for Fonseca, it's very situational. I'll try and speed up my answers here. I know I'm maybe dragging.
No, you're grand. I'm just conscious of keeping you too long, my man. That's the problem.
Oh no,
Bobby and Jack are used to it.
Okay. It's very situational, right? And this is something that a lot of the better coaches in football, they try and do. So it's not just a case of, right, in any moment of the game, we're just going to press. Because at the end of it, you're tired. You can't make 10 substitutions. You're screwed. There will be situational parts of the game, whether it be, I don't know, goalkeeper going out to the fullback, or maybe a centre back passing through, cutting through the line to a central midfielder, where there will be 3 or 4 players within the area who will all press, right? It won't happen all the time, but there will be certain things that will be taught and coached by Fonseca that will be right. If we lose the ball here, you guys are going to counter press. But there will be other situations where Fonseca knows, look, we're probably not going to win the ball back, so let's just drop off. Let's conserve some energy. Now, obviously, there's a huge factor of making sure that this message gets across okay. Obviously, some of the Spurs' defensive woes from last year, maybe there's quite a lot of work to be done. But the one thing we know about Paulo Fonseca, similar to Pochettino, he is absolutely loved in every dressing room he goes in. So him getting his message across and being able to convey what he wants to each of his players, I think will go very well.
Brilliant answer, my man. And look, I'm going to throw this one to you, Mr. Kanicki. Brad Matthews says the talk is of separate defensive coaches. I'm skeptical. How will Fonseca respond to this sort of setup?
Separate defensive coaches. I mean, that would be kind of an issue. But look, like I said, I think he's been able to basically bring out some of the best defenders this season, and the likes of Mancini, who's had a great season under him. Obviously, Ibanez has practically been Serie A's best center back. And then, like I said, Cristante, who's able to turn from someone who has never before had played in a center back position, able to play very well there. And I believe I'm missing another center back. But I know there's plenty of young players who he's also played as well in the center back positions. And I know we'll get onto that as well. But yeah, defensively, it seems like at least in the center backs positions. Oh yeah, who's this one I'm forgetting? He's also able to continue the reign of Smaldini in Roma, able to continue that trend there. So yeah, I think he's able to at least maybe turn the center backs into quality players, and maybe at least individually the center backs for his teams have been actually quite quality. But yeah, defensively with different separate defensive coaches, who knows? Maybe it could be difficult for him. But I mean, like Jack said, he's supposed to be a bit of a character. He's supposed to have a bit of a funny bone. He has a bit of a mysterious even kind of look to him. So yeah, I think maybe he could probably maybe come across well, and maybe even woo the defensive coach as well into thinking the same way.
Yeah, 100%. And just back to the fitness, Bob. Look, fitness was a main issue under Mourinho. It's kind of like what came out eventually was that he kind of left it on the players to do it themselves, and they didn't do it. Do you think maybe that really impacted a lot of results last season, because we did concede a lot of late goals? And do you think maybe or with Fonseca leaving all his backroom staff at Roma and that, and he's kind of coming in working with Tottenham, what Tottenham's got? Do you think it'll have to come from? I'm not going to call him manager because he's going to be employed as head coach. But do you think the orders will come from the head coach to fitness, or do you think the staff at Spurs will be responsible for that?
100%. There's no player out there who's going to give extra work on in the gym, working on stamina if they don't have to. From the sounds of it, Jose was quite lax with regards to players. Do you want to do it or not? Trust me, if you don't have to do it, you won't. And, they were working on the pitch quite a bit, which was and it was supposed to be hard, or not hard enough. They couldn't make their minds up. What worries me though, Jack, is not worries, but the question is, Poch was a very all the players loved Poch to an extent for a while, but it was more of a pally rather than a respect. So is Fonseca going to come in and get with the players because it's going to be all lovey-dovey, pally with the players, or is there going to be that element of respect that Jose unfortunately failed to bring, but I believe Conte could have? So how are the players loving him? What kind of way are they?
Well, there is a really good level of respect, and to bring up something that Jack mentioned there, Borja Mayoral, which, no disrespect to your chat, no disrespect to you guys, I'm sure you haven't even heard of. On loan from Real Madrid, has been there a decent chunk of time, but is never going to play for that club, and really shouldn't be playing for a club like Roma. Edin Dzeko wanted to leave. He wanted to go to Juventus. He wanted to go to Inter. There was interest for kind of a title push for the last 6 months, 18 months of top end Edin Dzeko. And, it didn't end up working out. And Edin Dzeko was a frustrated figure. But, Paulo Fonseca.
We were linked with him for a bit.
And you know what? As a backup to Kane, I wouldn't have hated that if you're a Spurs fan. I mean, you don't want him starting for your team, trust me. But as a backup, I think it's solid. What I'd say to you is he took Dzeko to task. He straight up dropped him. He dropped him for Borja Mayoral. And Borja Mayoral played well for what Borja Mayoral is, which is not that good of a football player. He played really well, especially in the Europa League. He was a decent player, good in terms of like build-up play and this kind of thing. So he is pally. I'm not going to say that he's not. There is that similarity with Pochettino. But, Edin Dzeko is probably arguably the most respected member in that whole Roma squad. And he took him to task and said, hey, man, I'm dropping you. You deal with it. You want to stay here and sit out your contract, you be my guest. And Dzeko and him, they then worked it out. And then he got brought back in at the end of the year. So he doesn't take any shit, I'll be honest. He doesn't take any shit. But the overriding sensation will be that there is that pally kind of buddy relationship. He's a relatively young manager too. He's going to know these players.
Yeah. Well, look, that was actually a great question, Bob. To be fair to you, that was a cracking question. No, it was a cracking question. But look, Jack, we're going to have a bit of a quick fire round with you. The super chats are backing up here, so we're going to put the super chats to you, and we'll get through them. So, Spandan Samaran says Spurs scored great goals in transition and scored more than 100 goals in a calendar year. What's the point of defence can't defend? Everton 5-4. So this is maybe just what's the point of defence if the defence can't defend? So basically, I'll take this one. Basically, Spandan Samaran. Yeah, I get what you're saying. But look, at the end of the day, if you want to win things, you do have to have a good defence. So we do have to tighten that up. We do have to bring in players. But if we don't have the defenders that can't defend, I suppose in a way you're probably right. Look, there's two ways of looking at it. For me, I would adapt my team around. For me, I would always adapt my team around the weakest link. And anytime you don't have the ball, make sure you're there helping him. But then there's the other way. You can just go and play all out attacking. And I get what you're saying. What is the point? We lost Everton 5-4 doing that as well. So I get what you're saying. Look, the answer is we need no defenders. But this is a question from Aglaya Kakaratis for you, Jack. Does Fonseca make the right substitutions at the right time? That has led to victories. Great question, Aglaya. Great question. And we'll get an answer on this, and then we have a few more there for you, Jack. They're backing up here, my man.
Yeah, no, I'll hurry this along. I realise I'm kind of fumbling over my words here a bit.
No, you're a great guest, man. People are really enjoying it.
No, you're killing it, brother.
What I'd say to you guys is that the vast majority, like I'd say maybe 60-70% of Paulo Fonseca substitutions are because of injuries a lot of the time, seriously. So we haven't seen, and they do not have the squad depth to bring on a guy who you can say, he's going to change the game. Because, as much as I like some of the Primavera players, we saw Cagliafiori come the end of the year and do okay, and Ibrahima Darbo has come on and done well. We don't have the game changers because a lot of them were out on loan. Florenzi, Cengiz Ünder, Justin Kluivert, these guys are all on loan. So the one thing I want to get across, Spurs fans, listen to me. This is going to be the best quality of player that he's managed. I mean, especially in midfield and especially going forward. Mancini, Kambula, Ibanez, those are probably better centre-backs than what Spurs have right now. But going forward and in midfield, Fonseca's like a kid in a candy store right now.
Yeah, no, 100%. Great answer, man. And Aglaya, that is a great question. And I presume it's a bit similar at Spurs. Look, I always said, especially last season, you look at the bench, doesn't really inspire us. And I suppose a lot of it does have to do with having the players to come off the bench and change the game. But great question, Aglaya. Great question. Thank you, Aglaya. Thank you, Brad. And thank you, Spandan Samaran, for the super chats. Really do appreciate it. We have one from Basil Gunev. He says CSKA, Serbia is one of the two teams, including United, that won in UEFA Cup over Roma, and CSK is not at the top. How good is Fonseca's level of team motivation? Great question.
That is a great question, and I'll be honest with you here, Vasil. It's not as good comparative to what you were going to get, and that's going to be one of my big messages to Spurs fans. I hate to say it, and you're going to hate hearing it, but you've got to temper your expectations. You know, a successful year for you guys next year is probably going to be a top 6 finish and a reasonable run in the cup. And I know that you are sick to death of that because you want to get over the line. You need that silverware. I get it. Trust me. But Fonseca, like I said, the guy wins games on the weekend, Monday through Friday. He's putting there's not going to be some crazy, passionate, pull his hair out team talk. He's trying to outthink and, be more technical and tactical on that side of the game than it will be in terms of a motivator, true motivator, like somebody like Antonio Conte.
Yeah, great. Look, great answer and great question, Vasil. Really appreciate the super chat, my man. Aglaya, for the second time, big yourself up. We just answered your super chat. Big yourself up. Thank you so much. Absolute legend, channel legend. Jordan Stevens says, Jack, do you know much about Paratici and do you think he will work with Fonseca?
Okay, this is
a great question.
Yeah, great question. This is the easiest answer all day. Yeah, I know Paratici has been one of the most unbelievably successful technical director of footballs in the history of the game, arguably. That whole Juventus run of 9 consecutive Scudetti. That's Paratici, and he's the guy making some of these great signings, the likes of a Dybala from a Palermo or something of that nature. He's the one attracting the players in on free transfers. We always see it with Juventus. They always do so well with the out of contract guys, right? They managed to get who's our French guy, Adrien Rabiot. They managed to get Ramsey. They can always attract these guys, and he's had great success. In terms of them working well together, they've not had that working relationship. But what I'd say to you Spurs fans is, Paratici's number 2 choice out of Gasperini or any other manager available out there was Paulo Fonseca. A guy as successful as Fabio Paratici, if Paulo Fonseca is basically his number 2 choice after Antonio Conte, don't you think that says a lot about how highly he rates this guy and the relationship they have? I would say that says a lot. I'm just trying to connect the dots, but I think that says a lot.
No, great answer, my man. Then we have William McKenzie. He says, just a token for the content, brother. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate it. That's so generous. Lads, everyone else, get your super chats in. Get your questions in for Jack while we have him here. We'll have him here for about another 15, 20 minutes, I reckon. But, get your super chats in with questions for him. Or if not, just like William does, if you're enjoying the content and you want to donate, it's all really greatly appreciated. Like I said, I have some great content planned for next season. Helps me just get more and more equipment and helps me take my journey full time. So big yourselves up for the support. Really do appreciate it. And keep getting those super chats in. Make sure you have smashed a like on the stream. Subscribe on the channel if you're new. There's 347 watching. The Harris Army, the Flat Cap Army, by order of the Don Hotspur here himself. Make sure you smash that like. Make sure you smash that like. I want to see the mat up. Bob's even putting on the hats, so make sure you do. And look, we'll crack on with a few more questions here. I have a few more questions. Some great questions there, by the way, in the super chats. Great questions. I genuinely thought I covered it all, but obviously I didn't. There's people out there with better brains than me, so big yourselves up. But look, one thing that I'm not sure about, and I suppose Bob would probably agree with this, and can he adapt during games if his style isn't working, or is he stubborn and will persist with it? So guess what I'm saying is if we're like 15, 20 minutes in, we're just getting dominated, we're already 1 or 2-0 down, will he persist with staying playing the same way, or does he have the ability and the tactics to be able to change it up?
It's going to be kind of a halftime change because what he likes to do is he likes to kind of take in the data analysis. He likes to get the team in and then come out after having been able to have a dialogue and speak with the opposition team. With his team. So like I said, he's not really this scream and shout, make some crazy substitution and it all works out. He is very cerebral in that way, and I'd say to you that unfortunately, his last 3, 4, 5 arguably years of management, it's not like he's had the players to bring on and really change a game. The likes of a Lucas Moura, a Steven Bergwijn, somebody like this off the bench, Paulo Fonseca's not had access to these kind of substitutes before, and that's going to make a huge difference. But in terms of if you're 1 and 2-0 down, you're going to probably have to wait till halftime to notice any proper kind of grand change in the way that Spurs will be playing.
That's a couple of times you mentioned, Jack, with regards to the players who's never managed before, the quality of players. Is there a slight chance that he might be overawed by the whole situation and be starstruck by
I never thought I'd get hard on over questions. You know that. 2 great questions.
But I'm not gonna lie to you. That is a great question, and unfortunately, we are largely dealing with the unknown here. Leandro Spinazzola, is he a superstar? Maybe after this Euros, but in terms of his time with Fonseca, maybe not. Lorenzo Pellegrini, is he a superstar? Like maybe in a couple of years when he gets a big move, he's a fantastic player. Nicolo Zaniolo's been hurt the whole time. Edin Dzeko's past his best. Mkhitaryan, Pedro, these are not superstar caliber players. So in answer to your question, I would say probably not. He's going to get overawed because I think, generally speaking, unless you guys are happy to kind of tell me the opposite here, I think the Spurs bunch are a nice group of lads. They're going to be welcoming and they're going to be open.
Too nice. That's the problem, Jack. Yeah. I wouldn't be saying a nice group of lads here. A lot of people will start, the chat would be flying, ping, 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 ping. I won't be saying that, lad, because we all say we're too nice.
But I'd say that's true. And I'll be honest, I'm one of the people who thought Mourinho would come in and make you guys a little more clever, a little more nasty, right, to try and get you over the edge. But it's a great question, and it's the great unknown. Unfortunately, my friend, I'm sorry about that. It's something that we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll just take the super chat from Aglaya, and then we'll hand that over to Knikic. Knikic might be able to tell us. Aglaya Kakarata says, is Fonseca related to Ronaldo? Look, Aglaya, I'm not sure whether that's for your own eyes or whether it's for the interest in Tottenham Hotspur. Probably a bit of both, probably 50-50. I'm not sure. But look, I don't think he is. I'd love if he did come to Tottenham. To be honest with you, it'd be nice for my eyes too. He's a good-looking man. I'm not afraid to say it. He's an absolute specimen, he is. And then we have a super chat here from Dermot Wales. Big up Aglaya for the super chat. Super chat from Dermot Wales. Dermot, I hope you're keeping well, my man. I hope everything's all good. And you've got plenty of rest today. We have to give this man a chance. Who do you think he will buy it? And will he get all going? Do you all think Kane might stay, or Kane might stay for one more season? On Harry Kane, look, unfortunately, I've been given a bit of information. I don't really want to talk about it just yet. I want to kind of sit back, wait and see. I don't want to send the fan base into a frenzy without any need.
And then Dele Alli
who will he buy?
You can't say that, David, and I'll tell us.
Dermot, look, we will be getting into buying just a little bit later on, my man. So we'll get to that answer. Just stay tuned, man. And I agree with you. We do have to give him a chance, 100%, man. Look, there's no point sitting here crying. He's going to be appointed, so we have to get behind the guy and give him a chance. But Jack, back to what Bob's question there, basically about his inexperience, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I can't deny it, but you guys know more than anybody. You guys had an Argentinian guy called Mauricio Pochettino, who was at Espanyol, who was at Saints, who had some upside, and you thought, we'll give this guy a go. And then, I hope you guys aren't gonna kind of jump on me here and kind of claw me to death, but Spurs have been one of the biggest overachievers, relative to their opponents over the last five years or so. I mean, yes, okay, not gotten quite over the line, but Spurs have had some incredibly impressive performances, and on the budget in which you're doing it, they've been huge overachievers. So I think that Fonseca, I do see some similarities there. And unfortunately, managers only get better when they're given the opportunity to be better, and I think that will be the case with Fonseca. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys it's a guaranteed success. This is especially if Kane were to leave, this is one of the hardest jobs to ever walk into, in my opinion. I'm just saying, give the guy a chance. My main reason for taking part in these channels and engaging with you guys in your chat, who have been amazing, is we've got to be honest here. Like, we're trying to give a guy a chance. We're trying to give a guy a chance to succeed, and we're not just going to bury him before he's even started. When, as a Roma fan, trust me, over the last 2 years, it's not been bad based on the context of the situation.
Yeah. And we will pass that over to Mr. Knikic as well. Have you anything to add to that, man?
Hey, Bob, can you repeat the question? I think I remembered it right, but can you repeat it just quickly?
It's just the fact that is there a worry that Fonseca will come in and be overawed by the quality of players that he's not normally used to. His previous clubs, like Jack's mentioned a couple of times, the quality of substitutions that he'll have. Yeah.
I would say, he's actually had a bit more experience at higher pedigree clubs than Pochettino did before Pochettino came to Spurs. When you look at it, he'd actually had managed more Champions League games than Pochettino had. He'd also had managed Champions League games for clubs that, basically getting to the round of 16 or getting to the knockout stage is a huge success. And so doing that with the likes of Shakhtar was a huge success. And you could actually take that as practically winning a trophy for them. And to be honest, he also was able to make it. He played Champions League games with Porto, and his time at Porto was maybe a bit of a learning period for him. Didn't really necessarily do too well there, and came into obviously his home country, playing or coaching in his home league, but it didn't really go too well for him, and actually had to go abroad and maybe learn the ropes, abroad and actually maybe improve there. So to be honest, he's actually maybe fallen a bit more than Pochettino has. Maybe Pochettino, you could argue, has had actually a bit more of a graceful kind of approach into maybe his managerial path that maybe Fonseca's maybe his whole career has actually been kind of, in a sense, thrown into the deep end. He had very successful teams with his first clubs in Pachos, and I believe Braga and Paços Ferreira, I believe, as well, another club there, had success there, and then just got thrown into the deep end with Porto. And so had to, learn to fail, and then went to Shakhtar and obviously did incredibly well. So when you think about it, a bit more experience, maybe when you think about it, than Pochettino, even to this day, a bit more experience than even Pochettino, you might think, apart from Premier League games.
Yeah. Well, look, I just want to say to everybody, look, what I've been told on Harry Kane, and look, I'm going to tell you, but I don't know how true it is. I'm pretty sure I'm okay to say it. Is that Harry Kane will be sold or does want to leave Tottenham, 100% wants to leave Tottenham. And basically that, how do I put it? That if there's not millions invested into the squad, basically he's going. He's going. And that's the be-all and end-all with the Harry Kane situation. So if he doesn't see the club going in the right direction and there's not millions put in to help performances on the pitch and to go for trophies, he wants to leave. And being honest, with the appointment of Fonseca, I don't know whether he'll stay. And that's nothing against Fonseca. I just think if it was Conte or Poch, we would have been able to make him stay. I'm not sure with Fonseca he has that sort of power to make him stay. And that's all I know on Harry Kane, everybody. That's all I know. I don't want to say too much more, but that's what I've been told. Dan Ends says, will Fonseca want Bale for another season? And Jack, we'll give that to you, man.
I don't think so. I've got to be honest. I mean, maybe Paulo Fonseca is a team manager, right? And we're seeing some good examples of that in Italy. A guy I would have loved to have seen maybe given a chance at Spurs is Gasperini at Atalanta. Atalanta have been playing just fantastic football over the last couple of years. Over 100 goals in consecutive years, and it's not like they've got some guys scoring 40 goals and the rest of the club, the rest of the squad. The goals are evenly spread, and you can't just stop one guy and win. You have to try and stop that whole team. And it's the same with Fonseca. Roma did not have a 20, 30 goal a season striker. It was 10 goals kind of here and there for Pellegrini, Veretout, Dzeko, Mkhitaryan, etc., etc. So Bale really does have kind of the media around him. It's going to probably be an unwanted distraction to Paulo Fonseca. And, unfortunately, guys, you have to throw a lot of money at Gareth Bale. I'm sure Real Madrid will pay some of his wages, but largely speaking, if he can potentially sign, I tell you, it's cool that we've done this tonight. If Domenico Berardi wants to leave Sassuolo and he likes Paulo Fonseca, hey, that's a guy who I would love to see in a Tottenham jersey. That would be awesome. There's one guy, Bernardeschi is definitely not going to be the starter there at Juve. Juve are having financial trouble. There's a guy I would potentially consider. These are not superstar players who are just going to blow people out of the water, but part of the style of play. You never know. You never know.
Bernardeschi, well, he's class.
Yeah.
We have We have Fazil Gunev. He says, we have Son and Kane. Who do you think should be the right inverted forward? In case we buy Pellegrini, what would be his position without number 10?
Well, first of all, you're not allowed to buy Lorenzo Pellegrini. Okay, he's staying at Roma forever. I'm not. If he gets sold, I'll be in bits. In terms of answering your question, I think I brought a couple of decent ones up there. If Nicolo Zaniolo was playing football over the last 2 years and was playing for Italy, tonight in the Euros, as he definitely would have been, Nicolo Zaniolo is an absolute class act. He's a special player to watch. Kind of a stronger, more built, kind of a Kaká style of running. You kind of go, you kind of look at him and you go, how is that guy moving that fast? He doesn't look like he's trying. Great feet, good finisher. That would be a guy, but are you going to sign a guy off 2 ACLs in back-to-back seasons? Probably not. Yeah. In answer to your question, to try and speed myself along here a bit, Chiesa and Domenico Berardi. I mean, I'm purely looking at it from a Serie A point of view here, but those would be two guys that I would think would be great fits for Spurs and Fonseca.
Yeah.
What's Pellegrini's numbers like, Jack? Because I've got to remember, if Kane goes or David said when he goes, there's a large number of goals that we have to replace. So I don't think one player's going to be able to do that. So, I mean, if Pellegrini was to come in, I know you don't, as much as you don't want it. What kind of numbers would he be bringing with him?
So he's a number 10 who kind of over Fonseca's time has been brought back into kind of a number 8 kind of role. So he's more of a kind of an all action midfielder. I'll give you a great example. If you guys are playing a 4-3-3, a 4-3-3 with Tanguy and Ndombele, Pellegrini and Højbjerg, that would be great to watch. I'd love to see something like that. He's like kind of he might sneak up to double digits in terms of goals. He's capable of taking penalties. He is Roma's captain, so there is some intangibles and some leadership there. Fonseca made him captain, so I totally understand the links there for sure. And in terms of assists as well, it's he's one of these guys where on a great year, you might get double digits from goals and assists, but on a down year, maybe you'll get mid single digits, your 5s and 6s from goals and assists. But his all-round play is what's going to be fantastic. He's not some crazy Paulo Dybala attacking type threat. He's more of an all-round ball player, and we may see him later in. Oh no, actually, he left the squad with an injury. But he's a great player, and I'd be very upset to lose him. I'll tell you that.
But better than Lamella, before you have to say better than Lamella.
Yeah, probably better than
Lamella. Super chat here from Maria Williams. The thing is, it is what it is. We need to back him and not be negative from the start. We can't change it, so let's get behind him. No, 100%. That's the message I'm parroting now. Look, it's not his fault that it's to some Spurs fans, it's underwhelming. At the end of the day, we have to get behind him. We have to back him. 100%. I fully agree with you, Maria, and thank you so much for the super chat. I hope you're eating a tub of Ben and Jerry's as well. Spandan Samaran, Ole finished second. Will Spurs take him for a chance? No, I don't want Ole. Ole going to shoe shiner. Definitely don't want him. That's why we nicknamed him the shoe shiner.
Doesn't even feed his kids, David. Doesn't even feed his own kids, David. Why would you want a guy like that?
And if anyone's ever watched Recess, he looks like the little guy that used to go around ratting on everybody. What was his name? Randall out of Recess. That's who he looks like. Randall out of Recess. So definitely don't want him, Spandan. Everybody else, keep getting them super chats in with the questions. Any questions for Jack? Any questions for Bob? Any questions for Mr. Knikic? Don't be afraid to get the super chats in. And thank you so much, everybody, for all the support already. It really does mean a lot. Look, I hear defensively that Fonseca's team can be found wanting at times. As we know, at Spurs, defence is our biggest problem. What will he do to tighten it up, or is it just simply a case of we need to buy defenders?
I think you need to buy defenders. I really do. I like some of the upside on some of your players. I do like what Davinson Sanchez could be in the future, but I think if you're relying on the dude right now, that is not it. I mentioned earlier in the stream here, like Roma's centre back options are better than Spurs centre back options right now. And for a team that have been as successful and playing in the Premier League with the more money that they do have to spend, like Spurs, you gotta upgrade that position. Alderweireld is not getting any younger. You've not really truly replaced somebody like a Jan Vertonghen, and unfortunately the fullback play has been left wanting. Fonseca can't work his magic within a matter of weeks. This is going to take the course of several months, and you mentioned that hard start that Spurs have got, you know, in the early goings there of your season. Like, trust me, you're going to need better centre backs starting for that team, or you guys are going to be conceding goals.
Yeah, that's worrying. That's worrying. Jack, anything to add to that, Ma, or Knickich, anything to add to that?
No,
I'm sorry, just Marion Cranford. I will be getting to this. Just bear with us. I will be getting to this. What you just said there, and everybody else. Make sure you have smashed the like, subscribe on Bobspur TV. Follow the boys' social media here as well, and keep getting those chats in with your questions. But Mr. Knickich, same to you, man.
I mean, look, defensively, we obviously need to buy center backs. Bottom line, I mean, even if we bought in Conte, we would need to buy center backs. Bottom line, you have to start there. But if you actually look at Fonseca, obviously Roma have been found wanting to kind of defensively. But then again, like I said, individually, when you look at the center backs individually, he's actually made them individually a whole lot better. He's made Ibanez, like I said, into one of the best passing center backs in the Serie A. This has some of the most progressive passes. Obviously, Cristante has basically been the best passing center back in the Serie A in that libero role. And the likes of Mancini there as well has had a fantastic season for them. Elise has been a very good, Jack, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been a very good no-nonsense kind of defender, I would say, for them. Very kind of classic Italian. He's at least, and then, like I said, I'll bring it up again, Smaldini as well. And so he's able to make defenders individually very strong, whether they may be more of a distributing kind of center back or a bit of a no-nonsense. He's able to kind of get the best out of all of them. It's just maybe his system that maybe allows them to be wanting defensively. But then you look at it the other side, you know, he's actually producing a pretty scintillating attacking play. And maybe finish it with Sanchez, you know, as we said with GPS Sanchez, you know, doesn't really know where he is, doesn't understand maybe the laws of gravity or what it may be, but maybe he might understand shapes a bit better. And if we're passing in a U shape, he might understand that a bit better, David.
Yeah, no, 100%, Jack. And look, Bob, how concerning is it to you that our defence is our biggest problem and that defence is probably Fonseca's Achilles heel?
We need new players in defence. Well, we need new players full stop. But it's just like I said, the personnel. We can put in any formation in. If we haven't got the right personnel, it's all a load of crap. It means fuck all, you know. But so it's good that it seems like Fonseca does concentrate on his own team formation, and from the sounds of it, he plays. There's no, you know, square pegs in round holes and vice versa. Yeah. He tends to play players where they belong. So, and I hope with investment.
Sounds like the boys are convincing you, Bob.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll just go do my 2-minute thing now, mate. I'll get it out of the way. So, I want Fonseca to be the best Tottenham manager ever. I want him to go down to be the best manager in Tottenham history.
Right.
What my biggest grievance and the most thing I've fucked off about is being led down the garden path for 3 weeks by Levy and his twats, putting Poch and Conte on the door saying we're going to sign these two, and I've fallen for it. Dave, we did streams, mate. Conte coming in, going to do this, he's going to do that, he's going to do this. Tottenham away. Matt did a 3-hour fucking stream talking about Conte doing this, doing that. We all fell for it, and we looked like fucking months afterwards. Yeah. So, forgive me for being a bit pissed off about the fact we've got someone like Fonseca coming in instead of a Conte. Nothing against Fonseca. He could turn out to be a better manager than what Conte was going to be. But whereas my confidence levels were up there for Conte, they're down there for Fonseca. That purely comes down to the fact that we don't know anything about it. Pochettino and Conte knew everything about Fonseca coming in. We know fuck all. But for people to turn around and say, Bob, you're being negative because you're not. It's not. It's nothing to do with Fonseca. It's more to do with Levy and Enoch treating us like fucking mugs and dickheads. So
just to come, if you don't mind, Bob, just for me to come in on that. You are directing your frustration and anger and disappointment in all the right places. Yes. Trust me. Like, listen, Spurs fans. I'm not a Spurs fan. Okay, I'm going to try and give you somewhat of an independent. Yeah, there you go. An independent viewpoint here. Pay Conte. Give him what he wants. Seriously, I'm not telling. Like, Conte for me, as of today, is the best manager in the world right now. You give him the money he wants and the support that he wants. Spurs could win the league next year. Seriously, that's the kind of impact that somebody like Antonio Conte has. The fact that, the board, Levy, all these kind of guys have not done that is a massive shame for a fan base that's crying out for something to cling on to, apart from saying, hey, we overachieved, or hey, we made a final, right? I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here. Like,
no.
I think that is, for me, the best, most rational direction of your frustration and your anger. And I guess where I'm trying to come from is, it's not all doom and gloom. Maybe not. You need to pull back the expectations a bit. But, I agree with you. Trust me, if I'm Roma manager and it's a choice between Mourinho, Fonseca or Conte, I want Conte too, for sure. Trust me.
Yeah. And look, Bob's rational thinking there. That's why you need to get over to Bobspur TV and make sure you smash that subscribe button. I've been keeping an eye on him. He's on 800. We want to get him to 1,000. 311 people watching right now. So look, all you guys can definitely get over there and help him out, get him closer to that 1,000. Mr. Knikic, we're going to throw this one to you and we'll just get a quick answer off you. I have 2 more questions for Jack Farr, and then after that, I'm going to start getting on to the questions I have for you and Bobspur after that. So Jack, Mr. Knikic, let's get a quick answer on this one. Vasil Gunev says, last one for me, guys. Isn't Pellegrini having a 30 million release clause with 1 year left on his contract? On top of that, Liverpool are chatting or are chasing as well. What, do you know anything about that, Jack?
Listen, I think I would caveat this with saying, like, we don't need to necessarily replace some of the players or some of the positions we need to fill. We don't need to replace it with some of the players that Fonseca was just using. I really rate Lorenzo Pellegrini, really rate him very high. But like we were saying, it's a bit more of a number 8. And I think we kind of already have a plethora of number 8s practically in our team at the moment, in the likes of Gio, Tanguy, and Dele. So to be honest, Lorenzo might be the best out of all of them. But it's still, like, it'd just be too much of a plethora. And like the right wing inverted position that was part of the Fonseca system was really Pedro. And so really, like I said, Fonseca was, dealing with people either on crutches, canes, or wheelchairs. And so we don't need to necessarily replace the players that we need to get with, the players that Fonseca was just using. In fact, maybe Fonseca might be quite reluctant to take some of these Roma players back with him the other way. No offense to you, Jack, but the one that I would replace for the right wing position we mentioned earlier has to be Pedro Gonçalves from Sporting CP. He's had 23 goals in Liga NOS. If you go look up the mixtape highlights, if you guys are into that, give you a hard on. He's absolute baller. He loves a good outside the foot pass. Just knows how to freaking finish as well. Like, this guy knows how to bang him in. Like I said, 23 goals in Liga NOS for a number 10 is nothing silly. Like, that is quality. And like I said, he knows how to finish. So that would be the guy that I would put in that spot.
Better than Lamella, actually. Yeah, better than Lamella.
Every time. I always have to caveat that.
You're right, Connect. Number 8 isn't.
He's better than Lamella, right?
Yeah. I love it. To listen to the name, is it? So yeah, you're right.
Look, Jack, we'll get a quick answer for you for Amzo here as well off Jack Farr there. Great show, guys. I was wondering if Fonseca will bring some youth players into the first team at Spurs, such as Scarlett, Divine, Lavinier, Ayoma, etc.
He'll assess everyone. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's not blind to reputation, and he's not blind to what players have done in the past. By no means, but he's going to give everybody their fair shot. Any player who's been, I know you guys have spoken a little negatively on somebody like Harry Winks. He's not going to just kind of go with the flow of that and just allow it to happen. This is a guy. I'm really excited for your midfield. Seriously, I really am. I think we're going to see the best out of your midfielders, because we saw that with Jordan Veretout, with Lorenzo Pellegrini, they had their best, they had their best years, and he is good at bringing players on. He's definitely going to give youth a chance. Ibrahima Darboe, is it Guinean or Gambian central midfielder? He's been nominated for European, the Golden Boy Award. He won't win it, but he's been nominated. And then Calafiori, when Rick Karsdorp was injured, has come in and done a sensational job as well. So he's not opposed to bringing in, Primavera or youth team players, but they're going to have to get in because they've impressed him, and everyone's going to be given kind of a clean slate. I hate to say it, but I'm not overly familiar with Spurs youth players, so sorry.
No worries at all. Big up Tom R for the channel donation. If you forgot to put your comment in, my man, just put it in the chat and I'll get it up. But thank you for the donation, my man. And Aglaya Kakara is cracking me up. Ole Gunnar shoe shiner. He could be called Ole Gunnar suck lacking fire. Soak So lacking fire. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Look, well, I'm going to Shoeshiner, you know, along with Mallet Head Maguire. You know, they have a full squad of clowns over there. But I think Randall out of recess, if you don't know who he is, go and type him in on Google and you'll get back to me. You'll be creasing yourself with laughter. Trust me on that one. Spitting image. Look, we'll take a question here from Cody Mack as well. He says, how big a subsection of Roma fans are happy to see the back of Fonseca?
Oh, nobody's really happy to see the back of him. You know, I think that this is kind of the big reason why I've been so kind of vocal about it in trying to engage with Spurs fans on social media. Like, you won't speak to, you know, really a reasonable Spurs fan, a Roma fan who thinks that, like, oh yeah, he was awful. The reason why we finished 5th and then we finished 7th, it was all his fault. It's just not true. You know, and Jose coming in, we know what we're going to get with Jose. And, you know, my slight optimism for Jose Mourinho is the fact he's come in is because he knows he's going to be given money to a squad that needs to spend money. So I'm happy about that. And also, I think Jose Mourinho's football nowadays is going to be better suited to Italian football. But trust me, in terms of a trade, you guys got the better deal. In footballing terms, you guys got the better deal on this trade, I'm telling you.
Happy days, happy days. Tamar, this is what Tamar was supposed to say in his super chat. Players, Ramsdale, Anderson, Lamptey, Sabitzer, Turan, Gonzalez, and now Thiago Leal as backroom staff. What is realistic and accurate? Ramsdale, I wouldn't say is accurate, to be honest with you. I think he's shit. I don't want him near Tottenham. But then again, he's on the cheap. Who knows? Anderson, I think, is realistic. Me, personally, I think there's probably a deal in place, but I can't confirm that. Lamptey, I like at Tottenham. Don't think it's realistic, to be honest with you. Sabitzer, 15 million from Leipzig. 50-50 on that one.
That's going to go up.
15 million, you bite your hand off. But yeah, there's definitely a bidding war.
Yeah. Look, Marcus Thuram, yeah, I'd like to get him in, but I don't think it's an urgent position to be addressing. Gonzalez is a player that Tottenham have they've been linked with the last couple of seasons. Not sure whether they pay the money to get it over the line. And Thiago Leal is backroom staff. Never heard of my man, to be honest with you. But look, I'm going to give my last question to Jack Farr. Then we're going to let him go. We've held him. Harris Army have held him.
Just want to say, there's something about Ramsdale that I do like. I'm not just saying it, there's something about him that the amount of shots the guys takes on season in, season out. And he does make very, very good saves. And he looked comfortable in an England shirt. So just want to put it out there that I'm the first one to say it if he does come to Spurs.
I still miss Aurelio Gomez, so I know how you feel about it.
100%. But look, you know, we're going to have Jack Farr here for one more question. So if you have any last questions you want to get in for the guy, get your super chats in and put them in. And if not, just help support the channel, get your super chats in. After that, then we'll be continuing on with Jack and Bobspur. And we'll kind of be letting Bobspur off the reins because I know these questions are probably going to be more Levy orientated answers from Bob. But Jack, look, my last question for you is what players do you see thriving under Fonseca outside of the likes of Kane, Son, Toby Alderweireld, the usual players?
Yeah, I mean, you've already kind of put the names out there of the guys who you expect to play well, regardless of who the manager is. I think the guy I'm most excited about, and, you know, I don't know how popular of an opinion this will be in terms of if other people think this would be a good fit with Fonseca. I think Tanguy Ndombele is going to explode. Seriously. Because especially, you know, at the end there, in terms of the way that the Roma played, the midfielders had so much time, space, and ability to just drive with the ball. That overload in the center of midfield is going to suit him. We know he's a street baller. Like, we've seen some of his highlights are on point. I absolutely love watching him play. You know, somebody like Højbjerg as well is gonna benefit very, very well. I think I'm hesitant to tell you that he's going to massively improve fullbacks or centre backs, because unfortunately the level of your centre backs and fullbacks at the moment is really not up to scratch. You know, with somebody like Spinazzola and Karsdorp and Ibanez, Kumbula, Gianluca Mancini, you could kind of see the semblance of, these guys could be, you know, Juventus players someday, right? Whereas I don't know if there's that level of talent there for Spurs. So I would say to you that the key areas to look out for is the central midfielders. I think you're going to see great improvement there. And Harry Winks, seriously, all jokes aside, if Paulo Fonseca can make Borja Mayoral look like a decent European striker, Harry Winks could really come out and prove some people wrong. Who knows?
You're pushing it now, mate.
Yeah.
My cue to leave. I'll see you.
No, look, 100%.
I've said to I've said to Dave a couple of times. I think Ndombele has it within him to become the best midfielder in the Premier League, if not Europe, if not the world. You know, a lot of people look at Paul Pogba and say he's one of the best in the world. I think he can become better than Pogba. I think he's done more than Pogba. So for me, it's all up here. If he can get that sorted, then Fonseca can get that sorted. I believe, and I keep on saying it, I believe he can become the best midfielder in the world.
Yeah, 100%. Well, look, Jack, I want to thank you personally for coming on. Honestly, you've been a big hit in the chat here. Cody Mack wants to thank you as well for bringing us the inside scoop on Fonseca. Look, I would love to get you back on again, even throughout over the course of the season if you've enjoyed your time here and you haven't felt like you've been held captive for too long. Really, really enjoyed this. I know
the Conference League, David. Bring him back for the Conference League, David.
Yeah, I'll have to, 100%. But look, the chat, everybody get in. Let Jack know how much you've really appreciated coming on, giving us the inside scoop. We've kept him a lot longer than what he probably thought he'd originally be on the channel for. And look, we've gave him a lot of pressing questions because, to be honest with you, I felt like he's got an easy ride on some of the other channels he was on. We only got basic questions, so I put more pressing questions to him, and he was well able to answer them. Jack, do you need to plug anything before you head off, my man?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, chat's been absolutely fantastic. I really appreciate all positive compliments, anything of that nature. Anybody wants to get at me at Red Brood on Twitter, I'm always open for good kind of reasoned discussions. And the reason why I wanted to come on is because I know you guys are going to kind of hear me out, and it's not just some sort of shouting match, Also, if you'd like to hear more from me, a buddy of mine has a YouTube channel called Box to Box Football, so go check that out if you'd like to hear more from me. But no, I'd love to come back on with you guys. I've appreciated getting to know you a little more, and the discussions have been brilliant.
Big up, Jack.
No, you've been absolutely brilliant, and I just want to say a massive thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it, and you've been absolutely brilliant, some cracking answers. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to lie, you have me sold on Fonseca, so you've probably done the job I wanted you to do, my man. Really do appreciate it. Absolute legend of a guest.
Yeah, no, thank you. And guys, final thing for the chat and for you guys, look, it's not Conte. We get it. It sucks, but it's happened now. And I just think that all hope is not lost, and you might be in for a pleasant surprise.
No, brilliant. Thank you so much, my man. Absolute top guest, and we'll see you again soon.
Come on, you Spurs, Jack. Come on, you Spurs.
Cheers, guys. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, guys.
That's what we're talking about. Big up, Jack. What an absolute legend. I want to say a massive thank you to Paddy Harnett as well for organising it. Paddy Harnett, in the chat here, you put the work in to get it done. Big up yourself, Paddy. I really do appreciate that, my man. Absolute legend. Everyone else, make sure you have smashed the like on the stream. Subscribe on the channel. I want to get Bobspur to 1,000K as quick as I can. The link for his channel is in the description below. Please go over and subscribe and come back. And also get your super chats in for questions for Bob, myself, and Mr. Kanicki. So look, basically, where we're going from here is a report from Fabrizio Romano today. He basically said Fonseca's set to sign his new contract at Tottenham. And he will be appointed Tottenham's new head coach. So it's not a manager, it's a head coach. Bob, for anyone out there, do you want to describe the difference between a manager and a head coach? And do you think this system is going to work at Tottenham?
Yeah,
I think the flash. And that's a piss for anyone that doesn't know, sorry.
He's bringing quite a few. I know Jack mentioned he's not bringing the physios with him, but he's bringing some of his backroom staff with him, isn't he? And I believe the likes of King and Wilson, I think, still going to be in and around the coaching area as well.
Is this the majority of the backroom staff staying?
Yeah, I believe so. I know King's still got a role there. So he has got the helping hand, and I suppose the head coach probably allows him to, which does worry me a bit, stand back away from the whole on the pitch and the formation changes and being in charge of formation work on the pitch. So personally, I just want him to come in and manage the team. It should be just a manager. He's coming to manage my football team. He's coming to manage Tottenham Hotspur football club. And all I want to see is progression, be it with his previous coaching staff, our coaching staff. If they're to manage not just the team but expectations as well, I just hope he can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say maybe the difference between a manager and a coach is just simply with the manager. Manager has simply a lot more power, a lot more pushing power, a lot more, even maybe in the sense of transfers, even purchasing power to a degree.
Do you think Theirishyid has taken a huge chunk out of Fonseca's role?
I believe that. I mean, I believe that Levy is still obviously always giving the green light towards everything, but there's possibly a chance that maybe Levy is actually going towards an approach of having a director of football that really has his hands in every single department, and that might be the recruitment of youth. That might go as far as also the purchasing of players, of course. But yeah, so it might be actually Theirishyid building the teams and buying the right players more than maybe Fonseca. And you can look at that as a positive and a negative. You can look at that as positive and a negative. Whereas, like, if the director of football is doing the right thing, let's say we're a Ocampos or a Ralph Ragnick, right? Like, plenty of managers have interchanged with those teams and have done well because the players need the right. Certain managers need the players that they want, and only can work with the certain players that they want. But then the negative towards like always catering towards the manager is if the manager really isn't doing the job and really isn't performing to the degree like maybe Jose was, it's kind of silly then sometimes maybe to just flood that manager with money only for them to achieve only so much. Maybe it's better to just buy all the right players and invest more in the players than in the managers. But then sometimes managers are more or less the ones that really win you leagues than players. It's a really two-way street.
Well, speaking of players, sorry, go on.
No, I've never been in a position at Spurs where the director of football, I know we all knew about, Paul Mitchell and Hitchin for the shit he takes, but the amount of attention and interviews and the big up this Theirishyid has had, even from Jack just previously, I don't think I've ever seen that from within Spurs. So let's just hope it's proved right.
Yeah, 100%. Look, the way it's going to happen is that, look, Fonseca, he's just going to he's just going to work with the players he has. He might have a small say on transfers, but ultimately, for me, the manager is going to be Theirishyid. He's the manager of the whole football inside. Fonseca is only going to be a coach, but he's going to be the head coach. So, on the coaching, on the training pitch, match days, the final day is going to be with him. But in terms of transfers, he'll go to Theirishyid, say, look, I need this, this, and this. Theirishyid will whittle down the list and go to Daniel Levy and get the final signing off. That's the way it's going to work. But Fabrizio Romano also said, clubs now already planning for an official announcement and transfer strategy together with Fonseca. This is a bit of a two-part question, Bob. What positions will we be looking at strengthening? What players would you like to come in? And have we already left it too late in the window to try and start negotiating? Are we kind of only going to be, either priced out of the market because clubs have already had their bidding wars and getting leftover players?
I believe in some cases, yes. Sabitzer, there's no way he's going to get sold for 15 million now. If he carries on playing the way he's doing in the Euros, there's no way his value's not going to rise from 15 million. The players we need, Anderson should have been signed, seen delivered. There's no secret that Anderson really wants to come to Tottenham. Skriniar should have been done ages ago, but I think we probably missed the boat with that. But we do need another defender. With regards to, it's the striker bit, and I don't think we can get the quality of striker to replace Kane till we've sold Kane. So, but there's nothing stopping from us starting talks and engaging our potential signing would be. So, for me, defenders, Anderson, like I say, should have been in there. Sabitzer should have been in there by now, and a striker. Yeah, there's a few out there. I know it's too late now, but Depay for me, I think we should have gone for him. I love him, honestly. I think he's got something to prove within the Premier League as well. I just think it's very positive. It's very one track when it comes to for the goal. So I like Depay, and he was on the free, and it's just a shame we missed the boat with him as well.
No, Depay's a good player. But Bob, as well, do you think we left it too late to act? Because I know we were sitting there, even coming up towards the end of the season, and like even Jack was as well. Like we were all saying, that it's important that we get the manager in early, because we need to start acting. We need to be earliest in the market, especially for a rebuild. We need to be earliest in the market. Are you concerned that we've probably left it a bit late into the window?
Well, you look at the news today, Dave. The likes of Smith Rowe having a bid rejected, Ben White having a bid rejected. There's teams out there who are going out and going for players. We get chatted about players, but there's never a concrete offer coming from us. So I think as usual, we're always last at the party, and Daniel Levy's probably waiting for the jumble sale at the end. The ups counter in Asda to make sure, see what's on discount, and then go for that. But I wouldn't expect.
It sounds like your local trip down to Poundland, Bob. There, the way you're describing it.
But I wouldn't expect anything less from the dickhead anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Zoe Dyson Falconer says Sonny has signed a new contract. Apparently, it's not signed yet. And as Daniel Levy said, never believe what's in the news until it's officially done. Unless it suits his narrative and season ticket dates are up for renewal. But never believe the news. Apparently, just only when it suits Mr. Levy. But it's not done yet, Zoe. So, to be honest with you, when it is signed, I'd probably gear yourself up for Harry Kane being sold. He does one thing nice, he does one thing good, and then it's always countered by something bad. And big up Darren Jackson for the donation to the channel, man. Really do appreciate that. What an absolute legend. Everybody else, keep getting your super chats in. Any players you want to ask Jack Konecki about, get them in. Any questions you want to put to Bobspur over the new Levy land, stuff like that, get them in. Feel free to get them in, and plus it's a great way to show support for the channel. But Jack, same question to you. What positions do you think we need to strengthen, and are you fearful that maybe we've left it a bit late?
Yeah, David, I mean, you and I have almost even hit it off originally about this. I knew from the beginning, I think we were going to be leaving it a little too late. And so, we've already left it. To answer it quickly, we've already left it too late. We might be either left to be the last ones in the bidding war, which means we'll probably bid the most in order to win it. And then other than that, then that means we'll either have to look for players that other players aren't really, or other clubs aren't really interested in, and then we can kind of bully ourselves into getting the right price. And then maybe the other way you look at it is maybe Paratici might have a bit of sway and might have some players that maybe already being purchased by other clubs, but then Paratici comes in and just swoops them up like an Italian angel. But I don't know. That's maybe the way he does it. In terms of positions we need to strengthen, personally, I think we need to sign 2 center backs, because we have at least 2 center backs that we have to move on, in the likes of Dyer and Sanchez. Sorry, excuse me. And so I would sign 2 center backs. We've already put in Anderson, and I would also get Milenkovic, that guy from Fiorentina. To be honest, I think he's supposed to be a really cheap option. He's very tall, really, really industrious in the air. Is practically the best Serie A center back in terms of winning headers. Is actually might even pop up with a couple goals for us that way as well, which might be nice.
Oh well, he's already sounding 10 times better than fucking numbers.
And then obviously we would have Toby there as a little bit of backup, and then maybe we can instigate Joe Rodon and Tanganga in there maybe to develop. But personally, I would sign 2 center backs. We need to sign some kind of person that can fill in for Højbjerg when needed, but can be different to Højbjerg. That isn't just another destroyer like Højbjerg, but it's a little different. Obviously, everyone puts in like the Basuma of the world. Personally, I mean, he hasn't even been playing in the Euros, which is a little concerning to me. But I would go for Zakaria from Switzerland. He's supposed to be from Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's supposed to be very cheap. From there, I would also go for Corentin Tolisso, who's supposed to be out from Bayern this year. But then you could also look in the Serie A, and there are plenty of replacements for kind of a good quality center mids in the Serie A. But I can't think of any at the top of my moment. The one I'd really go for is Zielinski, but that wouldn't be really solving our problem at all. It would not be solving our problem. But yeah, for me, the priority is 2 center backs and then some type of person to complement Højbjerg. But obviously, that's not considering the Kane departure and things like that. But that's the priority.
Look, just quickly on it for me, I just want to say to everybody, the reason why I asked that question is because when you're a club like Tottenham, you don't have the money. Like Daniel Levy said in the interview, basically, when he was asked about, where's the money going to come from, straight away, well, financial fair play, which basically equals, well, it's not coming from Munich. Then, he was also asked about the Harry Kane transfer. He didn't close the door on it. What else? There was something else he was asked about where the money. He said something else about the money. That we're self-sustainable. We're self-sustainable. That's another thing he said about the money. So, and he also said that we lost 200 million over the pandemic, right? And non-recoverable. Now, someone said this to me earlier, and it was a great answer. I think it was Cody Mack, actually. And the reason why we have the highest loss of any Premier League club is because we charge the highest season tickets. Yeah. So the more you charge people, obviously, the higher your loss is going to be. So great answer there earlier on by Cody. But the reason why we need to act so urgent in the transfer market is because of all the noise about not having the money. Okay, Daniel Levy did say, there's going to be a bit of money to spend, but it's not going to be much. We know what Tottenham are like. Yeah. All of Tottenham's money right now is tied up in property. We may be the 8th richest club in Europe, but that's not money. That's not accessible cash. That's all tied up in property. So that's where the money is. So we will have to sell in order to buy this summer because Joe Lewis's wallet is tighter than a fucking duck's arse. But the reason why it's so crucial to act early is because, if with the rebuild we need 5-6 players in. Genuinely, we need 5-6 players. People can sit here and say, realistic, everything else. Couldn't give a shit. Realistic, if we want to compete next season, we need 5-6 players in the door. And the reason why we have to act early is because we have to get in there before every other club. Yep. As soon as a bidding war commences, it's Daniel Levy just walks away. He doesn't deal with it. We've seen that over the years. So we had to act early. And purely because the amount of players we needed to bring in, we had to act early. And we needed to get in early so we could get them at a lower price. That's why I asked that question, just for anybody that was wondering. Yeah. In terms of a player I think we need, aside from the obvious 2 centre-backs, a right-back, a centre-attacking midfielder, one player I genuinely think that would be brilliant in beside Højbjerg, and someone that I think we miss. And someone that could also have helped us maybe not concede so many goals last year, or, when we didn't have the ball fall back so deep, is a midfielder like Modric, a midfielder like Carrick, who can dictate the tempo of the play. They can slow it down. They can quicken it up. You need a goal, they can quicken it up. You want to see out a few minutes, they can get the ball. They can rotate it left, right. You know what I mean? We need a player that can dictate the tempo. And for me, I think we need someone like that in beside.
Maybe Brozovic then. Maybe Brozovic because, he's supposed to be on the out. He's going to be leaving from Inter this summer anyway. Paratici, that would be a Paratici signing that makes sense. Maybe Brozovic then could work well alongside Højbjerg. Not really similar to Højbjerg in the industriousness, but is comfortable in that position and absolutely, like David was saying, is a total game tempo kind of guy, total tempo kind of guy.
Yeah, 100%. Just 2 super chats to get to, and then I have the next question for you. Spandan Samaram, will fans accept pretty football without results? What league table position is realistic where fans don't revolt against the manager? Look, I wouldn't take attack for football without results. At the end of the day, every professional player says it. You need a good defense. You need a good, solid foundation to build off if you want success. And for me, look, I just want a manager in that's going to win us games. I want players brought in that's going to win us games. So, no, I wouldn't play attack. Look, because at the end of the day, it may look good to us fans, but every single pundit is going to be sitting there and going, well, if they're conceding goals at that rate and they're losing games, surely, he has to tighten up at the back. And what's going to happen is if that is the case, we're going to get rid of Fonseca and we're going to bring in a defensive coach. That is going to be the case because we're not going to go out and buy the defenders or players that we need to shore it up. We're just going to sack the manager, bring in another manager purely because it's cheaper. That's what we done with Pochettino when we should have built. We had a chance to build a legacy. We didn't do it. And what league position? Look, I'd take another 7th. I'd be revolting, to be honest with you. I just want improvement now. We didn't build the stadium, the training complex, and everything else to be sitting down just above Arsenal. A couple of points ahead of Arsenal. We are quicker down the Arsenal route than what people think. And the reason why I say the Arsenal route is because I've said this a number of times. I said it even with Mourinho. We have to be careful, A, sacking Mourinho, but B, where we go from Mourinho. Because Arsenal got rid of Wenger. They brought in experienced coach like Unai Emery. They got rid of him. We done that after Pochettino with Mourinho, got rid of Mourinho. Now we're bringing on Fonseca, a manager I had to Google. I know a lot of other people did, and if they said it didn't, they're lying to me. Maybe the likes of Jack, I might get let away with it because he's just a European football freak. And I mean that in the nicest possible way there, Jacko. But, for me, I've lost the run of my thought, so I'm just going to move on to the next super chat. But big up Span Samurai Bob.
David, you're right. David, you're right. I mean, we went from the Wenger, who was our Poch. Poch was our Wenger, and then we went to kind of a proven kind of winner-esque manager in the likes of Mourinho. Arsenal went Emery. We then went with the manager that no one's ever heard of, who's still yet to really be fully proven, in the likes of Fonseca, someone we had to Google. And then Arsenal went with someone that they just picked up at the local 5A side pitch that they saw, playing with the cones on the side of the pitch. So they just went with that guy. Yeah, that's
my real thought. I have it back now. Thank you, Jack. Yeah, so they've gone with Arteta, Pep Cone's boy, right? Now, the thing is, they're probably 6 years into that. Well, we're only 2, and we're literally only finished above them last game of the season. Now, we need to wake up. That is very, very concerning. Very, very concerning. And the reason why they're in that position is because they'd rather sack managers and not bringing the players. We're down that route. We're going down that route. Aglaya Kakarata says, Ben and Jerry stuff for all of you lads. And can you give a shout out to my daughter, Angela? Yeah, hello, Angela. I hope you're keeping well. Make sure you're good for your mother. And hopefully you're not as sunburnt as her either. Lads, give a shout out to Angela there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really good to see you, Ellie. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm so glad Angela is doing well with the Ben and Jerry's as well, because I know there's some saved for her as well. Look, Ellie, it's always so good to have you on the channel. We always really appreciate you're so generous, and you're always keeping up the Ben and Jerry's rhetoric, which we really appreciate. That also goes absolutely unnoticed. So really, Ellie, big yourself up.
Ellie, if you get the time as well, make sure you email Ben and Jerry's. Tell them we're looking for the sponsor. The more people we get emailing them, the more pressure we put on them. Eventually, they're going to have to cave and sponsor us, and then maybe bring out the Irish hotspur flavour, Bobspur flavour, the Jack Knickich flavour. But Bob, do you want to give Angela a shout out here?
Yeah, big up Angela, and obviously thank you for your continued support. Thank you to your mum for her continued support, and of course when you grow up, and you know a bit of wisdom, and you've got a bit of words, and you know the ways of the world, come on and like and subscribe.
100%. And Angela, make sure you start off right. Ben and Jerry, start off with the most expensive taste, and it'll serve you well in life. 1000%. But look, Bob, and thank you so much, Aglaya. That's so generous. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Look, next question is so basically, Bob, right? He's going to be signing a 2-year contract with a 3rd-year optional for Spurs, subject to him meeting Spurs' requirements. It'll be for around 2.5 million per year. Now, the length of contract, if we're going through a rebuild, for me, the length of contract doesn't really, show that they have faith in him. But at the other side of it, Levy, people are going to argue that it's smart business by Levy because, he's not tied into a 5-year contract. He's not going to have a massive payout if things don't work. Where do you sit on that? Is that good business for Tottenham, Bob?
I think it's been.
By the way, that's a great question by me. I have to give myself credit.
Pick yourself up, David. Love it.
I think it's been hit by the compensation, sting so many times, but they just want to go down that route. Think about Fonseca. He can't afford a bad start. With Conte, if he'd come in and he lost 2 of the first 5 games, or Poch, there would have been a bit of not acceptance, but there would have been, in Conte we trust. Fonseca comes in, and if he gets a heavy defeat first game, and then we lose against something, Watford, or Danny Rose scoring in the last minute or something, I think the pressure on Fonseca is going to be absolutely massive. I have no fault on his own, but I think at the same time there will be a large fan base who will realise that the anger needs to be directed at the dickhead and the dickhead's boss.
Yeah, I mean, I really would have no harsh feelings towards Fonseca if he really were to fall on his face with this team. To be honest, especially if not a lot of investment really comes through the summer, and that's also likely to happen as well. So if there's not a lot of investment and he's basically handed this squad that it is right now, I mean, yeah, I mean, good luck to him. I mean, I wouldn't really have any harsh opinions of him or his managerial prowess, really. With the 2-year contract, obviously it ensures and kind of shows there's not a lot of trust there. It's just kind of, let's see how this guy does. Let's see if he can kind of ensure stability as well. They're probably thinking maybe he will ensure some kind of stability, some type of 6th place finish or above. Obviously they're not thinking he's going to pull up trees and win the league, but I think they're thinking maybe he might be able to actually pull off something that obviously Mourinho couldn't. That's what they're thinking. He's a much cheaper option as well for them. They are saving a bit of a buck, especially if he does fail, so they can fire him and not really think about too much expenditure. And then even with the 2-year contract, to be honest, if I were in Fonseca's shoes, obviously you're looking at that and you're like, not a lot of faith there, not a big payout either when I get fired. But you then could also look at it as like, right, this is my time to shine. This is my moment. And how long your tenure is. You're not being, handed some big contract and, being, lied to saying, oh, we're going to have you for this many years. We're going to wait and see how you develop. Look, they're saying, listen, we need you to start off like a horse, out the gates and start strong. And it's kind of transparent to him when you think about it. It's pretty transparent. He needs to do well right away. And I wouldn't blame him, though, if he doesn't do well. But, yeah, it's pretty transparent to him, at least.
Just on the back. Sorry, go on.
No, just going to get a drink, but you go.
Oh, no, I was just going to say to you, basically, on the back of what Jack was saying there, is do you think that's the right approach to maybe give him a contract and say you need to do well right off the bat, knowing that we do need a rebuild?
I think for me, like I keep on saying, we need to see progression on the pitch, off the pitch, and I think we'll know by the players that are coming in, if any come in. We'll can gauge by them what kind of season we're going to have and what kind of ambition the board have got. I was saying to Jack when he went off, if we don't have a good start, I think Fonseca will get a bit of stick, but I think the majority of the fan base will go for Levy, and I think in a way he probably doesn't realise that. It's a big call from Levy to bring someone in like that, knowing full well that if the results are shit, is probably the idea of calming the whole situation is going to backfire big time. Yeah.
No, I fully agree with you. Dermot Miles with the super chat. Big up, Dermot. So generous, man. He says, I don't think we're going to too bad next season. If we get better organised and get 4 or 5 new players in, if Kane does go, we need to put that money in the right place. 2 new centre backs, a new centre midfielder, but as well, Dermot, if Kane goes, we have to buy 2 strikers to carry the load. We have to buy a centre attacking midfielder to make up for his assists. So there's a lot more where that money actually has to go. Look, at the end of the day, if Kane goes, they have to get 2 strikers, centre attacking midfielder, 2 centre backs, a right back, and another centre midfielder. So that money, it's going to be a case of more or less a Gareth Bale situation all over again. You sell Gareth Bale, you get 7, 8 players in, hopefully it works out. And that's concerning. That is concerning. Jack, surely Fonseca's first job is to get the likes of Kane, Son, Toby, Hugo on side. What if he doesn't get them on side? What if they don't buy into his methods? Are we in big trouble?
I think I'll answer each of those players separately, David. I think when the likes of Kane, I think Kane is making his mind up, to be honest. He's not even probably aware of Fonseca, probably similar to you, probably hasn't exactly even heard of him. I mean, granted, none of us had really even heard of him. So I think Kane is probably making his mind up. And unless Fonseca maybe is able to lure him in with that, beautiful smile and Portuguese wine, maybe then Kane might stay. But yeah, I think Kane's going to make his mind up on his own without any influence from anybody else. And the likes of Son, looks like Sonny is just a true Tottenham boy through and through. He wants to sign a contract, supposedly what we're told, and he wants to stick through this mud and through this absolute pile of shit that is this club. And to be honest, when he comes to the end of his career, we absolutely have to thank him for that if he does do that. So Son seems to be staying. The likes of Hugo. Hugo, probably if he wins the World Cup, might be feeling very different about it all. So maybe he'll be thinking, might just finish my career at Spurs as well, to the best of my ability at, top football. Maybe he'll convince Hugo, but I don't think he's convincing Kane. But I think he convince Son and Hugo.
Yeah, no, 100%. John, we do live in the real world, my man. We do. Trust me, we do. And Ellie says here, Jack, that great content tonight, lads. I think we should all meet outside the Spurs shop for the first match versus Man City. Go for a few beers and I'll have the champagne. No, 100%, 100%, Aglaya. Look, we will always, we have to get Jack over for a game, so we do. We have to get Jack over all the way from America for a game. And, 100%. Look, when I do get over for a game next, I'll be letting everybody know, where I'll go for a few points beforehand and let everybody know where I am. If people want to come down and meet me and have a couple of pints with me, I'll buy the first pint. By all means, it'd be a great weekend, and I might even have a couple of my Irish mates with us, and we'll make a good night of it. Who knows, But yeah, on the first game of the season, actually, I might actually be going. Courtesy of Danny Kiriakou, by the way. A big shout out to Danny Kiriakou. First game of the season against City, I might be going. So I'll definitely be looking into that. It'll be more of a day trip over and back. Cheap and cheerful. Be a long day, but I can't wait. Hopefully, I can get over. And big up Aglaya for that comment as well. We have Brian Ireland in the building. He says we're going to do a North American raid. Big yourself up for appreciate that, my man. Aglaya's back in again. She says big up to Ericsson, our former number 23. So happy he pulled through and came back from the dead. I loved him. What a great player he was for us. No, 100%. And the thing when that happened, regardless of what we think of certain people, at the end of the day, we're all humans. And look, I'm just so glad, especially being one of our own, that he's pulled through. And hopefully he just makes a full recovery and from here on out makes the right decision for his wife and kids and himself, really, So big up, George. To be honest, Sue, don't think we can get any better under Levy. Bring your own scoop, 100%. Harrison Brownlee, who do you think is realistic target this summer? Look, I don't know, to be honest. We're being mentioned with so many names lately. I do not know. I like RVB, and because of his country, yes, I just always like Phil. That is why. Cody Mack, Fonseca 2 years, Pochettino 2 years. Yeah, no, I get that. I've said that before. My man. I fully get that. And there was a comment here I do want to get up, and it was a good comment. Corey Halliday. I think it's a perfect contract for an unproven manager in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I think it would be stupid to look an unknown in for longer than 2 or 3 years. No, I get that. I was just putting the question out there and seeing what the feelers were. Paddy Harnett, we don't need a massive rebuild. We have the bulk of a good squad. Improvements in key areas are vital. Yeah, 100%. Look, I get what you're saying. My opinion is different. I just don't think we have some good technical footballers at the club. And that's just my opinion. I do think, the squad has got sailed, and we do. It could, obviously, it needs a drastic overhaul, but that's never going to happen in one window. But I definitely think we need 2 or 3 windows to sort this out. Tomar says exactly what I said, Cody, coincidence. And George, Ben and Jerry's Levy edition, you're not allowed to choose your flavour. Big up, George. Big up, George. Everybody, crack out your Ben and Jerry's, your cookie dough, your chocolate fudge brownie, whatever you're delving into. Because and also make sure you do smash a like on the channel or on the stream and subscribe on the channel if you're new. I'm on the big push for 4K, and as well get your super chats in with questions for myself, Bobspur and Jack, and just to support the channel. And also, like I said, we're on a big push to try and get Bobspur to 1K. So the link for this channel is in the description below, Bobspur TV. Make sure you get over, smash and subscribe, and help him out. But look, Bob, another thing that really irked me last night, and it's inevitable, we're going to have to touch on it, is, look, all that Levy video put out the other day explained everything why we can't really go and get the best of the best players in, or even sort of world-class or semi-world-class players in. But then all of a sudden, look, I want to express this. I know it was already a part of the plans when they got approval for the stadium and stuff like that. But Bob, like, where are they getting the money for this if they don't have the money to put up for players on the field?
Especially after what you said, Dave. Every single penny is going into the team. For lost X amount of money that we can't recuperate. But for me, it's who's in charge of the fucking PR? Who's in charge of first of all bringing out a Levy video, which Levy has produced, directed, filmed, co-starred, and then secondly, a few days later, quite evidently seeing the backlash of the video, Oh no, let's put out another video or another tweet, just saying, "Oh, we're spending millions and millions on some buildings alongside the stadium." I don't get it. Sorry, that was hay fever kicking in. Yeah, I just don't understand who the PR is, and thinking, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good idea." Listen,
Yeah. It's shocking.
They've got the finger off the pulse. They haven't even got the finger anywhere near the pulse. It's just shocking what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Aglaya says here, Jack, come to Tottenham, Jack. It's my manor. So basically, she runs the streets of Tottenham, my man.
I love it.
I'll show you the sites. Danny, great man, tapping David up for a ticket. We all must meet. No, 100%. We will. 100%. Definitely. We have Cody Mack, Daniel Levy, the Emperor Palpatine origin story. 943. I wish Levy would just fuck off. He's pissing me off big time. 100%. Tom Morrow, Uncle Joe can sell his 250 million super yacht. That would do for stars. 100%. Brian Day, no, not Brian Daigle, sorry, Brian Ireland. It's propaganda. Honestly, if Brian Daigle was listening right now, his ears would be like a boiling kettle. There'd be steam coming off them. So there would. And Aglaya, let me know your choice of poison, before the Spurs games. Let us know your choice of poison that you have to settle the nerves before the Spurs games. But Jack, like Bob said, who's in charge of the PR? Like, for me now, it just seems that interview was put out because they knew this was coming.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, well, this is why we can't do transfers, this, that, and the other, make it all sound good. And then a few days later, this is coming down the line and fans are paying no attention to it. It's absolutely shocking, isn't it, Jack?
No, I mean, big up though, Ellie, Mrs. Cockeratus. I would love it. I would love a tour from the Queen Cockeratus, so the Irish Army herself, through the lanes. A nice catered tour, maybe open air convertible, something like that. Yeah, that sounds glorious. But
I bet you she does drive around in a convertible.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She runs the lane. She runs the lane, David. She runs the lane. To get onto that, Levy, to be honest, I think he honestly does run the PR. Even from like the Sunderland Till I Die documentary, you could tell that the head honcho at every club has definitely a big hand in the PR. Definitely has a big hand in how things are run. And even Sunderland Till I Die, you could tell that they seemed even a bit more hands off on that department. But yeah, you can tell. Levy can put his hand into any pot. And personally, like Bob was saying, I think he really does direct, lead, co-star, and even produce every PR stunt that we've gone through. I don't see why any rational person in the PR team could be running any of these stories without the approval of him, especially him being probably so hands-on as it is. I think he practically does run the PR, and it's just people being paid to do what he says, to be honest, which, plenty of people do in life, and maybe that probably is a good one. Probably pays pretty well to do what Levy says. But yeah, I might not even blame any of the people that work for him, because I think they're just told what to do.
No, 100%. I fully agree with that. George says, thank you, Dave. 18 and Club My Club. Appreciate that, George, 100%. I feel your pain, man. We all do. Look, just for people that might not know what's going in there, but you know what pisses me off? Before I tell people that, you know what really pisses me off, though, Bob? Right, so as the headlines, as the captions, it's, Sports Hub Community Centre, right? But then, as you read on, straight, it's just thrown in there in the small print, hotel and housing quarters. Now, the thing is, right, it's geared up like it's for the community, right? Now, obviously, there's going to have to be some element of affordable housing there. There's going to have to be some element, right? But the thing is, the rest of them houses, right, it's only going to be the rich people that can afford it. The hotel, it's only going to be the rich people that can afford it. They say in the article that they're hoping to attract people from further afield. So in a way, it feels like, they're going to be pushing the poorer people out of Tottenham and turning it into a billionaire's boys club, because, what's going to be here? An extreme sports hub and community centre, which will be built on the south side of the stadium, And like I said, in the small print, plans for a hotel or residential quarter. No Daniel Levy, there would be, a suite up there in the hotel where you get to look into the stadium from somewhere or something like that. There'd be something crazy. Levy Land would create. So the Sports Hub Community Centre, there's going to be outdoor and indoor climbing walls, Bob. So, when you go to the game, you can bring your son, you can have a nice adventure up the climbing wall, and maybe they might even throw in a bungee jump for you to get down to your seat.
Fuck the game.
You get to paraglide in.
It's a joke. But lads, honestly, this is the best part, right? And this is so generous on their behalf. It's right, not just a dunk tank, a huge dunk tank, right, up to 51.2 meters in height.
Beautiful.
So generous. Now, the only thing I can think of is that they're getting the dunk tank in is to sit fucking Daniel Levy on it and fans to pay €5 to throw 3 balls at it, hit the target, and then hopefully get him dunked. Because it
but
pisses them
the button
off.
doesn't work that you hit when you hit it. You can hit it square on, but it actually doesn't work.
Absolute joke, right? And then, they want to deliver a unique leisure facility expected to draw visitors from further afield. So basically, look, it's not for the local areas, for the local people. It's going to be for the rich people who can afford to be able to go there. Unique leisure facility. Not sure what that means. I presume there's going to be a state-of-the-art gym and swimming pool to go along with the hotel. Whatever else there is, I don't know. But again, I don't understand where the money's coming from. And then the community centre, and this was on the very last part, right? The part that the locals actually do need most, right, is the community health centre will eventually, now take that eventually. So obviously, when they put the word eventually in, that means to me, after they've built what's going to make them money, then eventually they give the locals something to help them out. And will be built on the north side of the stadium, completely away from the Billionaires Boys Club. So basically, it's going to be a token gesture, basically, and it's going to be built after the hotel and houses. Honestly, I was seething when I read that article. I was absolutely seething.
If the money was going into, it's going back to Enoch and Levy. It's not like it's going into the local council.
Yeah.
Who can improve Tottenham as an area. But the fact it's another act of pure selfishness from Levy and Enoch, and another act of complete ignorance to what the fans are thinking of them at the moment. And it just baffles me. I honestly don't understand what they're not getting and how wrong they're getting it. But for me, the biggest thing is, like you say, the poor people are going to be moved out, the rich people are going to be coming in, and it's just going to evolve. It's going to internally recycle. The money's going to go from the rich people to Levy, who's going to Levy and Enoch, who's going to bring it back out and support the rich people, and round and round and round. Whereas the target should be making the less fortunate people fortunate. But no, I don't think that's happening.
100%. Ellie has responded to you, Jack. She'd take you down to Downhills Park and play a game of football or even football. I do drive a convertible, but I wouldn't I want to drive Levy out of Tottenham. Oh, you drive a convertible? I thought that all right. I'd say, you're driving the convertible with the shades on, so big yourself up, fair play to you. A convertible, very nice car.
Big Enoch shades with the convertible top down. Got a Ben and Jerry's, a couple in the passenger seat, David, ready to go home. Yeah,
9 o'clock at night.
You wouldn't want to take me down to play football because I'm absolutely lethal Glare. I'm Ireland's answer to Harry Kane. So, I'd be too good. I'd be too good unless you 2-foot me or something. But look, I just don't understand that. A lot of people here are saying, look, it's regentrification. A lot of London has gone through that already. I know. I used to live in Croydon. I've gone back. I've seen what they're doing to the area and stuff like that. I get it. But the thing is, what sits so badly with me is it's the timing. We need players. We are struggling on the football pitch. We need to understand we're a football club first and foremost, before any sort of business. We're a football club. Now, Levy can sit there and say he's a fan, he cares, everything he wants. In fact, the word he used is we need to be prudent. Is what he's going to be doing there prudent? he says we need to protect the club. Is what he's doing there going to protect the club? No, it's not. What's going to protect the club is putting the players on the pitch and, you know, the right management system and everything else in place for us to progress in order to challenge for trophies. And this is the thing. Like, Daniel Levy, right, you can say he's a fan all he wants, but he's using Tottenham to build his property portfolio. And I hate to say it, but that's exactly what he's doing. He doesn't care. He's charging the most expensive season ticket all across Europe, right? All across Europe. The most expensive season ticket. And the shit he's putting up
we're a money generator for him, Dave. We're a money generator. He's using our name, he's using our status, he's using the stadium as a branch to as a tree trunk to actually branch out to other companies and investment opportunities to fill his pockets, mate.
Big up Agoya, big up Ellie. So generous, so generous.
Yeah, she says, I'll take Jack and you lads down to Downhills Park and we can play a game of soccer or even football. Soccer is a dig at you there, Jacko. I would rather drive Levy out of Tottenham rather than drive my convertible, lads. No, look, maybe you can trick Levy. Put him in your convertible, think you're taking him somewhere nice, and then just drive him out of Tottenham. It's perfect. You know, maybe we can hopefully get Harry Potter.
Yeah, hopefully there's a bit of space for moon boots, though, Ellie. You know, hopefully you got a bit of space for moon boots. Maybe Aurier. You know, Aurier's got to go a different direction than half of them, so maybe you have to turn back. But, you know, if you got a bit of gas in the tank for them, Ellie, maybe we can ride all along together with them. Drop them off together. Drop them off together.
Big up Aglaia for the super chat. So generous. I really do appreciate it. I really do. I really do. I put that last comment as a super chat because need to give you lads all my support. No, big up. Honestly, I really do appreciate it. I really do. Everyone else, you know, if you want to help a guy keep achieving his dream, being able to sit here, put more and more content like this, put more and more time into it, you know, and basically go full time. Get your super chats in and support the channel. You really don't understand how much it really does help and how much more equipment it provides to help me be able to provide better channels. To be honest with you, like, you know, rather than all, like, why wouldn't you want to see me full time? You know, put a smile on everybody's face, you know, and I do it with pride and I do it with passion. Why wouldn't you want to see me full time? So thank you so much, everybody, for all your help. I really do achieve it. I really do appreciate it. I really do. But honestly, I just can't believe the timing of it. I really can't. Like, it's so frustrating because I don't think he gets it. Even looking at the interview, all it was is money, right? Coming from the money aspect. The guy needs to wake up and realize we're a fucking football club. You know, one quote he said, he's like, you know, we spent 1.5 billion or something on capital assets. We have progressed in that period on the pitch, but not as far as, or not as much as maybe some of us would like. Well, no, not as much as us fans would like. As for you, you're absolutely delighted. Why do you care? You're coining it in. You have all the season ticket money. Regardless, you're going to sell out the stadium week in, week out, purely because of people's love for the club. And you're taking advantage of that. You're taking advantage of that. If you really gave a goddamn shit about this club like he says he does, put the players on the fucking pitch to prove it. We couldn't care about Levy Land. We couldn't care about having a rock climbing thing, you know, so we can go there before the match, do a bit of rock climbing. I couldn't care whether I can go for a swimming, you know, before the game or not. I couldn't care whether I'm staying in Wimbledon where I usually stay because it's handy for me, or outside White Hart Lane. I couldn't give a shit where I stay in London as long as I'm in London I can get to the game. You know what I mean? So just put the fucking money and the players on the pitch for us to succeed. This is what we're all pissed off about, and he just doesn't get it.
Do you think there's something wrong up there? Honestly, I think there's something wrong.
No, I do. 100%. It's just the way you said it. It's so funny.
I think there's something wrong up there, and he's not realising what kind of shit show he's putting on and how many times he's fucking up. Because it's in his own mind, he's doing everything right, and he can't see it. I just think there's something not right up there.
No, there's not. Honestly, he just has that rich, so some of that mentality that the elite have. They just think they can fool the people. You know, they think they're smarter than everybody else. They think they're 10 steps ahead than everybody else. But what they don't realise is there's people like me who barely passed my leaving cert, but can see right through them fuckers. May not be book smart, but I'm street smart, and I can see through their fucking ways. Look, guys, have you anything you'd like to say before we do end off the show?
I think just to answer that last question, David, I think it's maybe actually Levy. Maybe the reason he's not over there, maybe not all right, it's just simply he's just inhaling too many of the fumes from the construction of Levy land.
Yeah, possibly.
No, 100%, 100%. But look, Bob, let people know where they can find you. Jack, just quickly, while Bob's letting people know what to expect on the channel, can you just pop in and see how much subscribers he has?
Yeah, I'm on Bobspur TV. I've not done a stream for a few days now. I'm back in full-time work, but I'm going to be easing off a bit. And I will be doing some content. I'm doing the Fall on the Wall shows coming out, but also I'll be appearing on other people's shows as well. We've got some interesting Euro matches coming up, and might be doing a few reviews of those games. But yeah, Four on the Wall, which normally is myself, Brian, and whoever wants to come on, will be coming very soon, either Friday or Saturday, most likely Saturday after the England game.
No, I look forward to it. Jack, do you have an update on us? How many subs is he on?
Yeah, let's look it up for Bobby there. Just a moment there, David. Looking at 808.
808. Look, I'm not ending the stream till we get Bob to 825. Look, honestly, the guy puts in incredible work on his own channel, and like you just said there, everybody else's channel. You ever need someone to come on, he's always available. He'll always help you out. He's been a massive help to me. I honestly, I could get a brainwave text him at the drop of a hat. An hour later, Bob has a thumbnail. Honestly, the guy's been unbelievable for this channel, and the Harris Army, I'd love for you to pay him back the way you can is just by getting over to Bobspur and subscribing. Bobspur TV. The link is in the description below. Look, it's the power of the Harris Army. Let's show what we can do. Let's flex the muscles again, and let's get Bob to 825. I'll even settle for 820. But there has to be at least 12 people out there that's not subscribed to Bobspur TV. So please get over there. Honestly, his content is great. He's took it up on an absolute level since he first started, and it's reflecting in his subscribers. Within the space of a couple of weeks, he went from about 200 to 700, 800, and it's growing and growing and growing, and you want to be in that first 1,000. The guy, look, he's back to work full-time, but he shouldn't be working full-time. The guy's not well. His heart problems. He needs to get to 1K, and we need to get all of our support behind Bob and help make him achieve his dream, just like you've helped me achieve helping me achieve my dream of going full-time, putting out Spurs content. There's so many Arsenal out there, so many United out there, so many Chelsea and other teams. Why not? Why can't Tottenham take over YouTube? For years, we've just been looking at rival channels. Now we have a foray of our own. It's important you absolutely get behind every single Spurs channel. But right now, it's about Bobspur TV. Jack, have we got any more subscribers? Has it gone up?
I'm checking as well, mate. We're on 811. Big up, guys.
811. Come on, guys. 9 more people. Look, I have Ben and Jerry's cookie dough to go and be eating. I've had a long day. I started off on Chris Callum's channel this morning at 9 o'clock. I've had a long day. So, look, I have Ben and Jerry's to be eating. So, please, come on. Let's get them 9 subs over. Let's get Bob to 820. He deserves it. He sat here. He's honestly, just for them 2 questions alone that you asked Jack Farr. Great questions. Very impressed. Didn't think he had it in him. For them 2 questions alone, he deserves the 9 subs. We have 244 people watching right now. I don't want to have to keep you in detention. I'm sure you're sick hearing me just waffle on and speak and shit. So let's get over to Bobspur and let's just get the job done. The Harris Army, you can't let me down. Have we got any more, Bobby?
No, we actually lost one. I'm on 810.
No, that's not good enough. No, do you know what that is? That's YouTube playing up, because usually when you get free subscribers, it just mixes up. But come on, guys, 239 people watching right now. Come on, lads, let's get behind Bobspur. Let's help him get to it. Adam says detention. You're in detention, Adam. Adam, I'm looking at you. Get over and subscribe. Mr. Keaveney, thanks for tonight, guys. Great show. Keaveney, thank you so much. Appreciate the kind words. But I'm not letting you go until you get off to Bobspur and smash that subscribe button. Sandy A says, great show, boys. Good night, everyone. Keep it up, Tottenham. Sandy A, before you sign off for the night, before you go to Snoozeland counting sheep, get over to Bobspur TV. Make sure you subscribe. Sue Smith, I know you would. You would. Adam's already subscribed. Paul Russell, don't be going anywhere unless you're subscribed to Bobspur. Mr. Edwardson, I know you are already. Who have we got? We've got Brad says, I want each of you to say something positive and believable about the future of our club, and I'll subscribe. Yeah, no, look, I'll do it. So for me, look, I don't know if you've noticed, Brad, but if you watched me from the early days, I was the most positive, deluded Spurs fan. You know, that they've kind of kicked my confidence from pillar to post over the season. But look, as the season starts, I believe we can win the league. You can't get more positive than that or more deluded. And at the end of the day, look, I love this club. As much as I'm frustrated with the shit players and stuff like that, I love this club. And I'm Tottenham till I die. You can't get more positive than that, my man. Bob, you need to say something positive to get your subscriber.
I said right from the off, I want this manager to be the best manager in the world. I want him to go down as a Tottenham legend, and hopefully with our positive backing of the manager, by the way, not the board, and hopefully we can achieve a few things. But I've been saying that since the day it was announced. Yeah, I want him to be the best.
No, 100%. Jack, you have to say something positive now as well.
Yeah, no, that's what I would say. I mean, with Fonseca coming in, he actually is inheriting in certain positions some pretty great players. He's actually inheriting what I think could be potentially in the future some of the best players in the world, in the likes of Gio Lo Celso, in the likes of Tanguy and Ndombele, in the likes of Sergio Reguilon. So to be honest, yeah, he is inheriting in great players. We still have great players, I think, within our depth. If we sign just 3 players in the positions needed, right back, center defensive mid, and center back, I think that we just have a lot going forward for next season, and we can absolutely build off of that.
100%.
Drop the phone. I dropped the mic on that as well.
What you done? You dropped the mic on it.
So look, there you are. There's the positivity, Brad. So you have to go over and subscribe now. Aglaya says, Levy, the compulsive liar, he needs to see a psychologist. The idiot is ruining our great club. And Bobspur, you were spot on when you said he's not all there. This guy is a twat. No, great comment, Aglaya. Great comment. Great opinion. Brad says, been watching. That's why I want to see you all smiles again. Let's go get it. Get behind it because it's all we got. Big up to all you guys. Come on, you Spurs. Watch yourselves, Bob. So, Bob, we definitely have to confirm there in the last few minutes. So, what are we on now?
8:14, mate. Yeah. And Brad
8:14.
Yeah.
We just need 6 of you lovely folks out there. 220 people in here watching me talk shite right now.
Top 943. Big up, mate. Thank you very much.
Come on, big yourself up. Keep getting over there. Make sure you smash that subscribe. The numbers have gone up to 223. People must be coming back to see if we're reaching that goal. Come on, guys. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Look, at least respect the grind. At least respect the grind. Man, Armasia, I hope you're subscribed. I'm not letting you away nice and easy. I hope you're subscribed to Bobspur TV. Daniel Levy's pa became his wife. Don't know how much real work he does.
I think he's the Daniel Levy's personal assistant.
Yeah. Big up. Neil G, that's Jack signing off by dropping the mic. No, he's not signing off yet. He's not going anywhere until the subs are done. Neil G, I hope you're subscribed, my man. Top943 says you're welcome, Bob. Come on, you Spurs. Thanks, guys. Enjoyed the chat. No, thank you, Trevor Kane. I really appreciate it, my man. Yeah, Italy are looking good, Mr. Edwardson. They are. Yeah. Adam, to those 66 people subscribe, it's the best. This legend deserves it. No, 100% he does. 100% he does. Come on, Cody Max says subscribe to Bobspur. You don't want to see him fall asleep on the stream. He drools in his sleep. Yeah, it's not a pretty sight. It's not a pretty sight.
It's not, again, Bob. Especially when the drool falls onto Cody's beard, you know.
By the way, he's grown a superb beard of late, to be fair to the guy.
He doesn't like it.
The Great Kakarata, Spurs family, we all rock. Harris Army, you rock. Tottenham till we die. 100% Aglaya, you rock. You rock, so you do. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your generosity, your support. And I can't wait to meet everybody when I'm over there for the next game. Alama says you simply can't forget Levy. His hands are in everything we do as a club, 100%. And Alama, you need to get over to Bobspur TV, help smash that subscribe button, and let's help reach the target. Darren Jackson with a donation. Really appreciate that, my man. What a legend. What a legend. Kenevi, I'll back Fonseca. Just hope the players do too. Yeah, 100%. We are going to back them. But make sure you smash that subscribe on Bobspur. Bob, are we anywhere near it?
Still on 8:14, mate. And I think it probably happened overnight. I need to get my meds in.
204 people. That hopefully that's 2 people that's dropped off there from 206 to get off to Bobspur. I'm not giving up just yet. I know there's people out there. They're waiting. They want to be the last one. They want to get the praise. You know, don't hesitate. Honestly, I can't stress enough. Bob's channel is brilliant. He gets on brilliant guests. You know, it's different guests every single time, and he puts out great shows, great questions. Honestly, you need to get over there and smash that subscribe button. Look, we'll talk a little bit about something else for another 5 minutes. See if we can get it.
Italy looking strong. Italy looking the best team so far in the Euros. They're looking class. They were absolutely brilliant today. I know towards the end of the we were on stream.
Jack, can you put Bob's channel in the comments here?
I'm not actually part of the host here, David. So, but yeah, I can.
Okay, give me 1 minute. I'm gonna
do it on my phone, David. No, David, you're fine. David, I can do it. No problem.
Okay, brilliant. So, Armand, as soon as it's in there, I expect you to get over and subscribe, my man. Sorry, Bob. Go on.
Yeah, and that's it. Italy looking. Yeah, they're playing very un-Italian-esque football, and you know they're attacking, but they're attacking constantly. You know, and you look at Bonucci and Chiellini in defence, and for them to play a high line, you do think, well, there's a place where we can attack. If we're going to get a chance, we're going to get it from that high line. But no, they do it so well. They do it so well, but yeah, it's the it would be it's the Italian side, the most attacking Italian side I've seen for quite some time.
Will Stewart's there putting the link in the chat for Bobspur TV. Big up, Will Stewart. Really appreciate that. Everybody, 204 people watching. Please click on that link. Please get over to Bobspur TV and smash that subscribe button. Honestly, like I said, I need my Ben and Jerry's. You know, I've been up since 9 o'clock in the morning. If not do it for Bob, at least do it for me, guys. You know, that'd be absolutely awesome. Aglaya Calcaratas with the super chat. Big yourself up. Really appreciate that. So kind. Bale, Davies and Loden were awesome for Wales tonight. And Alex must be happy for our Ben testimonial Davies. Yeah, look, honestly, Ben Davies had a good game, you know, but he had a good Euros the last time they reached the semi-final and came back and was shit at Tottenham. You know, look, Wales, they have more of a club feeling. They all like going there, in fairness, I suppose. But, yeah, look, I'm happy for Odin. I'm happy for Bale, especially if Bale comes back to Tottenham. If he doesn't, couldn't give a shit. But then I'd be delighted for Odin, you know, from getting the games in such a big experience competition like that. It's absolutely perfect for him. But big up Aglaya for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Guys, like I said, Bobspur, the link for Bobspur is here. Will Stewart has put it in the chat. Still 202 people watching. Make sure you get over there. Come on, guys. Let's achieve the goal. Bob, are we any closer?
Need 5 more, mate.
5 more. I'm not. Look, 5 more. It's easy. It's easy. There has to be 5 people. Has to be 5 people. This should be easy. The numbers are going up. There's 2 people after coming in. You 2 people, if you're new, we're on the big push to get Bobspur to 200 or to 820 subs. We're 5 off. You 2 can be a massive help to reach that goal. Come on, guys, get it in. Make sure you do smash that subscribe. The link is in the chat by very generously from Will Stewart, by the way. And Aman says another legend, THFC rants in the comments. Yeah, Anthony Gray says, David, very random thing I'm going to say. I've known a lot of great Irish gents over the years through greyhound racing. Have you ever been involved or enjoyed the dogs? Yeah, look, as a young lad, I used to love going to the dogs. Used to be pretty handy anytime I went. Used to win a bit of money. But over the years, my luck faded. But look, I don't back horses. I'm actually allergic to horses. I haven't a clue when it comes to reading horse racing form. But Anthony, when it comes to the dogs now, I'm good at reading the form, you know, and I do like placing a sneaky bet on it. Do I know anybody in the greyhound industry? No, I don't, man. I don't. But the dog track, it's a good night out. It is a good night out. It really is. 199 people watching, so hopefully that means 5 of them have gone over to subscribe to Bobspur. Or if not, they're dipping out early and they're dipping out of detention. I'll have to get them again. Will Stewart says, least I can do while cutting the grass. Big up, Will. What a legend out there cutting the grass. That beautiful football pitch he has going on there. Brad says, guys, the penalty was shocking, but the rest of this game was on fire. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you that. Adam, that penalty by Bale, though, yeah, that was woeful. That was woeful. I think him not scoring was playing on his mind. He was dying. He was dying to score. Aglaya says, at the Wales-Turkey match. What?
We're 3 away now.
3 away, 204 people. We need 3 people to get over to Bobspur TV. I don't have to start naming and shaming people, calling them out. Just do the job. I have Ben and Jerry's in the freezer. Bob does. Jack does. We're dying to get that nice, cold, succulent, creamy ice cream into our mouth. And then once you swallow all the ice cream, you're left with the cookie dough. Oh, it's so good. The feeling, the grit between your teeth, how tasty it is. It's unbelievable. We have that waiting in the freezer, so we need 3 more people to get over to Bobspur. It can be done. We have 203 people watching. Come on, let's do this. Cody Mack is even sitting here. He says 3 more. Come on, just 3 more. It's easy.
2 more.
2 more.
Come on, guys. Just 2 more. Who wants to be the one? Who wants to take in the crown? Who wants to take in the trophy tonight?
Yeah, we'll get the name of the next 2 subscribers, and we'll praise you dramatically. We did 203 people watching. Bobspur needs 2 more.
One more.
1 more sub.
820.
Who's going to be the hero? Who's going to be the leader? Who's going to be the general of the Harris Army?
820, David. 820, David. Who wants it? Who wants it?
Joseph Franklin, I think, was on the content.
Big yourself up, Joseph. Big yourself up. You're the new leader and the general of the Harris Army for the night. You need to look after them, get them troops in order, get them in line, keep them in shape. Look, it's been absolutely great. We've done it. We've got Bob to where he needs to go. So big up, everybody. Big up. You're all legends, Bob. Look, plug your channel one more time before we end off. Let people know where to find you, and then we'll do the same with Jack.
Bobspur TV doing all stuff regarding Spurs, little rants, little shows. We do one-off shows as well, but we've got the 4 on the Wall show happening either Saturday, but most likely Friday. We'll be speaking about the England-Scotland game. Brilliant.
Look, we all know it's only a friendly though, Bob, right? Because it's already won. You beat Croatia, so it is only a friendly, that game.
I might as well hand over the trophy now.
I know. It's coming home, Bob. It's already home. No, I'm only messing with you. But look, Jacko, where can people find you, my man?
Listen, David, we can always find me right alongside you here at the Irish Hotspur. We got something planned tomorrow with Marcelo. Marcelo's going to be back tomorrow. Marcelo's going to be back for the Frenemies Part 3. We are going to finish it this time. I promise everybody it will be finished. Whether we even perish on screen, it's still going to be finished. And then also, if anybody has been looking, maybe confused why Turkey hasn't been doing as well, or maybe, looking why Italy is doing so well, please go back to David and I's Euro preview, where we kind of give you the betting guide to the whole tournament. Because if you're curious about, why some teams are doing well, maybe why some aren't, I definitely think there might be some little anecdote or answer in there in that Euros preview. So you can always find me here with David, making stuff here with David. And then always find me at Tottenham Away as well. They're always creating good content. You'll find me there plenty of times. They make great stuff there with Brian Ireland and Brian Daigle. They're top notch over there, just like Bobspur here. So yeah, you can find me over here with David all the time at the Irish Hotspur, Flat Cap Army, the Don Hotspur, and then along with that, absolutely Tottenham Away as well. Absolutely. So go check out Tottenham Away if you haven't.
100%. And look, we may give Will a mention as well. He was generous enough to put the link in the chat there. So also get over and check out Will Stewart THFC rants. You'll always find myself, Bobspur, Brian Daigle, Brian Ireland, people like that always on the channel, Cody Mack, and of course Will, the man himself. So make sure you get over and check out Will Stewart THFC rants as well. Look, the Harris Army, a couple of requests before we end off. I want you to get onto Twitter, at Mr. Jack Farr, the guy that was on here today. Yeah, tag him in it, say thank you so much for his appearance. The nicer we are to these people, the more chance we get them back on throughout the season, especially if he lied to us, especially if we've been sold a dummy, we can get him back on to answer himself. But Jack, if you are still watching, big yourself up. I appreciate your time. Absolutely. You made it. You helped make a great show today. Also, the second thing is, I need every single one of you to keep emailing Ben and Jerry's every single day. It can be a copy and paste job, but every single day. The way I see it is they can't keep ignoring me. You keep putting in the word Irish Hotspur. Eventually, they're going to have to check me out. They're going to have to say, who's this Irish Hotspur? We're sick of getting spammed. Let's just check them out. They're going to see how great we are, how much we plug Ben and Jerry's on this channel, how much we love it. Not only me, Jack, the Harris Army as well. You know what I mean? So the more you do it, the more chance we have of getting them to sponsor some of our videos. especially the panel show that me, Jack, Bobby, and Danny usually do. You know, that'll be the prime show for them to sponsor. It'll be absolutely brilliant. So make sure you keep getting on to Ben and Jerry's. Look, Harris Army, you've been incredible. Your support is insane. I can't believe you managed to get more subscribers for Bobspur today. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for all the super chats. You're so generous. In fact, way too kind. You know, big yourselves up. You really don't know how much you are actually helping me, achieve my dream, helping me keep sitting here, getting more and more content out and pushing me towards being full-time. You're all legends, and honestly, I can never thank you enough from where you guys, the Harris Army, have took me from an unknown quantity when I started in October to where I am now. You have no idea how grateful I am. It's all because of you guys, the Harris Army. You know, obviously the panel members giving up their time to help make the content, but you know, we could bring on people, but it's you guys that show the support, the subscribes, you know, put out the name. It's absolutely brilliant. I love you all. Thank you so much, and keep it going. Look, make sure you check out my little piece I done on the release of the fixtures earlier on today. That's on the channel. Tomorrow we're back with Frenemies Part 3, where we will actually finish it this time. The player ratings, we will get the player ratings finished this time. So we're back with that tomorrow night. That's me, Marcelo, and Jack. After that, Friday, I'm off playing football, twisting up a few people on the Astro. So I'm just going to have to pop out, do that Friday. Then Saturday, I'll be back. I'll be back with a fan show, and I'll be back with something else in as well. So, look, make sure you stay tuned for the Irish Hotspur. See you all tomorrow, guys. You're all legends. Put in the comments your appreciation for Jack and Bob, myself, if you feel free to. Make sure you do smash a subscribe on the channel, on the big push for 4K. Smash a like on this stream. If you think, you know, it's worthy, share it to people. Get the word out there. Most importantly as well, when this is finished, get in, give me the thumbs up. David Harris, you rock. The Irish Hotspur, Don Hotspur, you're the greatest. Whatever it is you want to put in there, just put it in there in the comments below this video. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm. Keeps getting the content out there. And look, you know, hopefully we can go bigger. I want to take this to the very top. I want to get to 100K. I want to get that placard. I want to get onto the boxing versus TikTok or platform versus platform boxing. I want to get onto that. There's so many things. Big Brother, I'm going to wake them the fuck up and get that show back. Love Big Brother. That's what we need to do. But big up the Harris Army. Come on, you Spurs. You're all legends, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Get in.